Hello out there, and welcome back to Table Talk Discussion and Discourse. I, as always, am your host, Alejo, aka Great95.
I, as always, am your host, coming to you live this week with wasabi in his eye, Sneaky Adolf. I hate it.
Oh man, that.
It is legitimately awful.
I'm so sorry. And as you can see, Boo is not going to be joining us tonight. He is working those late hours, and will
Because
probably.
he is weak, as is his bloodline. He shall not survive the end times.
It's true. And he will probably not show up by the time we're done because uh, this is going to be a shorter one, as you probably have noticed already by the time. Just because I am away from home, so I don't have the luxury of not keeping other people awake for hours and hours, as I'm in a tiny cabin with my family. So that is the situation. There's a picture on the Instagram. Go look at it. Um, but yeah, to travel with all that kind of stuff.
Mm.
Don't worry, tested positive, negative. Excuse me,
What?
negative. Ooh,
What?
ooh, ooh, almost bad. Because usually positive is good, right? And so I was like, yeah, positive for
Not,
not
not
having
if it's
it.
HIV.
Right, that's true. Um, but no, it's we don't have the good old Rona, so we were able to come up to do some family stuff that needs to be done. Um,
Mm.
but yes, so that's why this is going to be a bit of a lower quality, honestly. Hoping it's not too bad, at least for audio. But video will suffer, definitely.
Oh, please, Alejo. We're constantly scraping the bottom of the barrel.
what I, I have some pride in what I've put out. Come on, give me that. Um, yeah, you don't have to. It's fine. Um,
I mean, even Darkside Phil has pride in his content.
oof, ouch, dude. Don't compare us to that, dude. Ow. That man. That man doesn't know how to make cup noodles. Like, come on.
Nor how to eat them with a fork.
Or how to eat them. Um anyway, with that out of the way, let's get to today's thing. Um
Yes.
so recently, Twitter happens to be a site that is a cesspool, but
Mhm.
also quite fun to be around. Um
Yes. If you are a pig like me who loves to roll around in the filth,
mhm
Twitter is the place to be.
mhm mhm. Um and so some stuff has come up, a few different things where I, I honestly don't know the full story. I saw a little bit here and
Mhm.
there while it was developing, and I was just like, I don't care. It's fine. Like, we don't need to do
Yeah.
anything about this. But then it got
But
bigger.
yeah. So basically, TLDR. Uh, person makes combat wheelchair for D&D.
Yes.
Um,
Combat wheelchair,
and
which was cool sounding.
I have read through it and I do have some opinions on it.
Sure.
Um, but like a lot of people get fucking angry,
It's very
and
strange.
I don't understand why they're so angry.
Like, it seems to be like
Well,
a my
I
sanctity
I
of fantasy.
understand. Yeah, I I understand why they are angry, but I heavily disagree with it
Mm-hmm.
because it is a really, really fucking cool idea.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
And it's yeah, I would say personally needs some balance tweaks.
sure.
There are some things on it that are too expensive or too heavy that I would honestly be super fine with a player getting a lot more easily.
Mm-hmm.
And there's some things that you can do with it that I'm like, I don't know about this one. We should tweak this.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, I think it's good. The creator has one take in particular I heavily disagree with, but hey,
Yeah, I mean, and that's part of what we're going to be discussing today. So
Yes.
let's get right into it, I guess.
Mhm.
Should we start with the bigger topic in general, the buzzword, or should we start with
Uh,
the take that she had?
the the buzzword?
The buzzword, dude. What's in D&D that's the bad, the big buzzword?
Are you talking about ableism?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So okay. All
Here,
right.
first off, let me show you,
Yeah.
let me show on screen at least. Like when I looked into it, apparently, ableism, is like back in 2018, people were talking about this in D&D,
Yeah.
which
Oh
is
no. It's
I had no
yeah. No.
idea.
It's
I thought people were aware that
oh.
it doesn't matter.
Uh.
Like people can be both disabled and non-disabled and still play the game and have their characters be that way, you know? One way or the other, and it was
Yeah.
fine?
The so yeah. Ableism is a word that I was introduced to thanks to Tumblr.
Um,
Um. Many isms taught
mhm.
to me thanks to Tumblr.
That's fair. Yep, that's fair.
Um. And yeah. No. Like it is without a doubt fucked up.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think that we need to bother with how absolutely stupid the idea of disregarding someone because of a disability is. That's fucking.
I mean,
Mm.
yeah, no, it's completely illogical to even consider that being a stance to take.
Yeah.
And like the fact that people were thinking, as far as I'm aware, the people were thinking that people who play D&D promote ableism is
S-
like
Yeah,
that's stupid.
because a lot of people are like, well, if you're disabled, then you shouldn't be adventuring.
Right, exactly.
Um,
That's stupid.
which, well, I don't think a
So,
sentence like that is by its own right
I
incorrect, but it is indicative of a mentality that
yes,
is incorrect.
that's what I mean. It's the mindset behind saying something like that and just meaning 100% like this is not something that should happen at all. It's like
Mhm.
I I can understand if somebody loses a leg as an adventurer, right? And then they're
Mhm.
like, I don't want to adventure anymore because this is going to slow me down a lot, you
Mhm.
know? And I'd be
And
like, yeah,
and
that's fine.
and also, like, wolves will inherently always
Yeah.
attack me first,
Yeah, absolutely. You're the weak part of the pack,
as they
so yeah.
yeah, as they do in nature. If
Yeah.
there is a three-legged buffalo, that's the one that gets killed first.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And so like I can see that kind of stuff where it's like, yeah, if you're an adventurer and you have a disability that makes it so that you cannot perform as well as anybody
Mhm.
else, then it is probably not in your best interest to adventure, right?
And this is why I love the combat wheelchair personally, is
Hmm.
because it is designed to take a person who has a disability,
Yeah,
whether they were born from it or received it through injury or just bad genetics as they grew.
right,
It is designed to inherently not make a disabled person any stronger or weaker than an abled person. And
right.
the idea personally, like there's some attacks you can do with it that are just fucking awesome, and I love them.
Cool. Yeah, no.
Um, like you can just like ram people in their legs, like hell yeah.
Yeah, that's
Um,
great. That's really good.
yeah, but it yeah no ableism of course never okay at the table. However,
Right.
um, yeah, let's just get into it.
Well, the other thing that I want to say as well is that
Mhm.
when people were like talking about it, I then think about even in 5e, like Eberron, they have a quite literal magic item in Eberron's book that is a replacement for your arm. Like it is a prosthetic arm that is a combat
Oh, is it
arm.
really?
Yeah. Um
Oh, that's cool.
I don't
I w-
remember what it's
I
called, but
was thinking actually the other night about what to do for people who are like quadriplegic, and I was thinking of like a mechanical exosuit or
Oh,
something
sure. Yeah.
that could be controlled by the mind. And I'm like, yo, dude, be Iron Man. Yes,
Yeah.
please.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's sick.
This is the thing, right? Like with this kind of thing, it's so easy for anyone to allow somebody to be whoever they want to be and make it so that they can still
Mhm.
adventure. Um,
I would say, um, and this is sort of that however that I was gonna mention
sure.
earlier, but, um, I do find one part of, the combat wheelchair, I guess you could say problematic,
Hmm.
in that I get if you are disabled, you can have a hard time relating to an able-bodied
Sure.
character,
Yeah.
um, especially if you're, disabled from an extremely young age.
Yes.
However, I personally am not a huge fan of self-inserts of characters,
Oh, yeah.
and
Fair.
it's the same thing like when we covered, Tulok.
Yeah.
It's like how to
It's
make
true.
this in D&D, how to make that in D&D.
It's true.
And, um, if someone able-bodied or otherwise, wants to play a character in a combat wheelchair, hell yeah, dude.
Hmm.
Um, however, if someone just every single time they make a character, disabled or no, I would probably be less of a fan of it because I'm like, dude, like the whole point of D&D is that you can be anyone or anything.
Hmm.
And the idea of every single character you make being the exact same is boring.
I mean, yeah, it's fair enough. I would imagine, right, if they wanted to be like have the same kind of theme of having a character with a disability, then they would change the character up,
Mhm.
right? Like that it's easy enough to have a different personality
Yeah, like
or,
or a different disability.
yeah, exactly. Something different other than
Mm.
maybe it's not like legs problems, maybe it's arm problems, some kind of other
Yeah.
kind of thing.
I would just say personally, I would not be 100% about starting up another new campaign and looking across the table and being like, "Let me guess, combat wheelchair paladin? Wow, imagine my surprise."
Right. Yeah, you would have to have different kind of things to because like the combat wheelchair is a good start. I feel like if they want to
Yeah.
continue with that, get like a combat I don't know, what's cane? Have a combat cane, have like I mean canes can already have combative
Oh, dude,
properties.
like,
Some of them are stiff, but
yeah, yeah, like, literally, I have a weapon that was available to the players in my game that was, more or less the threaded cane from Bloodborne,
yeah, 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 exactly.
and it was fully able to support a person's weight,
Hmm.
but also if you're in combat, if you can go without a cane for, like, even a short amount of time, which most people I know who have used canes in their life can go, like, 4 or 5 minutes without a cane,
Sure, yeah.
um understandable, like, that's not everyone, but
No, of
hey.
course.
Um, yeah, it turned into, like, a, sort of like a serrated whip.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And like that's the thing. It's so it's both interesting and infuriating how many people look at D&D and just look at it from the outside and just don't even think about the possibilities at all. They don't know how it
Yeah.
works, so they don't think that people like will accommodate and will make creative solutions for these kinds of things. Like I
Mhm,
have in fact an example of a campaign that I was listening to that high
mhm,
rollers were doing. They still are doing it, I think,
mhm,
and it's called Erois. And in it, one of the characters is a Aarakocra, and the
okay,
Aarakocra only has one wing, and
okay,
he's had that from the start, so this isn't a spoiler or anything, but like he's using that as his thing of one, he doesn't want to have the 50-foot fly speed because that seems OP to him, and I agree. um but the that plus it gives him this character thing because he made the whole backstory with it. The god like chose him to be his cleric, and like this was after he tried to go through the initiation with Aarakocra um that kind of is like this really hard thing to do where they fly through like a super windy canyon that's, or no, not windy, sorry, storm, like magically stormed canyon,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
he
yeah.
got struck by
It is
lightning and
an
all that.
ordeal.
Yeah. So it's like he's playing off that, and like later down the road some other stuff happens that I won't say that he has to play with too, but then after that like some other things happen that like play into those things that, and this all like if people know what I'm talking about, it's all a big kind of character growth kind of thing that happens with because of the things that he's lost and then the things that he gains from it. It's a very interesting way to do it and to like make it uh so that his weaknesses then become his strengths in a way.
Mhm. Um, yeah. Although
Yeah,
if
I
Final
know.
Fantasy has taught me anything, it's that one-winged beings can fly too.
Yeah, well, no. So but it's again, like I said, it's infuriating when all of these people who are just so they're looking to tear down D&D and role-playing games, and they find this one little thing where it's just like "Mm," and then they find some people who are just not as cool about something, and then they go, "Oh, the entire thing is bad." Right?
I I haven't encountered anything like that personally.
I mean via Twitter and all this kind of stuff, like with the orcs and all this, like all the recent developments and stuff. That's what I mean.
Yeah, but I've not seen anyone say anything about like D&D bad because look, people mad at combat wheelchair. I've literally only seen people mad at combat wheelchair.
Oh,
I've not
is
seen
it just that?
I've
I
not
thought,
seen people I've not seen anyone making like a meta commentary on D&D.
well, no, I also mean like this whole like with enacting this, like because I'm seeing many articles of ableism as well, and so they're using the wheelchair thing to springboard into the ableism thing.
Oh yeah, yeah, I
Yeah,
have seen a couple
yeah,
articles.
exactly.
Matter of
So,
fact, actually, the tweet I was trying to find, the one
mhm,
that you sent to me,
yeah.
I found because of an article.
Oh, gotcha.
Uh, yeah. Um, however, uh, I would say, did you have any other like preamble points to make, or shall we get into the meat of the matter?
No, I'm good. Yeah, let's get into it.
All right.
What are we dropping, boys?
Oh, so I sent you a Google Drive thing.
Oh, okay. Yep, clicking it.
It should open up a folder of which I am using the yellowish one at the bottom.
Alright, give me a moment. Hang up in my Chrome. I might have faster internet here than at home, but it's not a good enough computer to do things with it. Haha.
Mhm.
Haha. It's taking a little bit here. Anyway, oh no, drive you have no excuse. Come on, come on. Let's do it. Let's do this.
I have faith in
I
your 2012 laptop.
You shouldn't. Okay. So all right. So which one am I? The home brewery link there?
Yeah, the one with like the one that looks like it came out of the player's handbook.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Click please. Ooh, hello. Maybe you. Maybe you open for me. Huh? Oh, come on, dude. Really? Apologies, listeners and viewers. Apologies. It takes a. Oh, what?
You got it?
I think so. It's definitely loading something. That's pretty
In
cool.
the meantime, please enjoy this ASMR.
I hate it. Okay, it's open.
Okay.
Let's look at it.
Uh, so the combat wheelchair.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Designed with the adventure in mind, the combat wheelchair is supportive and intuitive, designed for both daily activity and the pressures of combat during one's adventures. It can be specifically tailored to its user with a variety of intuitive upgrades, which we shall get to.
Mm-hmm.
Designed and created by first-rate artificers and their disabled consultants to
Oh.
ensure high-grade comfort and excellent efficiency. Not
Mm-hmm.
only this, the wheelchair prides itself as being sleek, fashionable, and durable at a price affordable for the discerning mobility user.
Mm-hmm.
Taking its design from the chair used in sports such as wheelchair basketball and rugby, didn't know that those existed in Eberron. The combat wheelchair can
Yeah.
withstand high impact and even work as a weapon in itself, providing the user with the means of both defense and attack. Anyone can be an adventurer. Hell
Sure.
yeah.
Yeah. I'm
All
for
right.
it.
So right off the bat,
Mm-hmm.
solid intro. But moving into what does this chair do, we encounter a problem
All right.
that kind of sustains itself throughout the entirety of the document.
Okay. Okay.
That that being an obsessive compulsive need to self-justify.
Ooh. Okay.
So perhaps you'll see the but it can float up and down stairs. Isn't that unfair? But it can be used
Yes.
as a weapon. Isn't that unfair? But this chair has equipment that comes with it. Um,
But wheelchairs have never been in Dungeons and Dragons. This is nonsense.
um, yeah. So
Would anyone need?
I
Yeah.
get I
Okay.
get that there are beardy boys in the basement that are sweating
Yeah. Of
at
course.
the idea of a wheelchair in
Mm-hmm.
D&D, scared because their ableistic ways are about to be shook.
Immediately. Yeah. Of course. Yeah.
Um, but, like, typically, a thing like this would go in a designated foreword or an epilogue?
Yeah. I feel like this is ultimately not necessary in the actual thing itself. This is more, yeah, like you said, like in a description on like a post on Reddit or
Yeah.
like, you
There
know.
there there's one line in particular that or 2 lines in particular that I don't like. The
Okay.
first is in the "But it can float up and down stairs, isn't
Yeah.
that unfair?" An argument which a lot of people seem to use on Twitter, which is oh, it's mind-numbingly stupid, the fact that people have an issue with this.
That it goes up and down stairs easily
Yeah,
so that it makes
yeah.
it work.
Of course it goes up and down the stairs. It's a magical world. Like,
Yeah.
dude, it's
Like
a
let
are
it.
you seriously going to punish your party with having them, like, roll strength scores to help up,
Yeah.
the person in the wheelchair every dungeon? Do you know
Yeah.
how much of a slog that would be? Hell yeah,
Exactly.
let them go up
Exactly.
and down stairs.
Like, and also, if you don't want this thing, you just don't use it, dude.
And
Like any homebrew, like any, UA stuff, like anything that is not first party, it just
like
okay, yep.
or even things that are first party.
Even thing, yeah, absolutely. Is D&D is literally just you pick and choose what you want at times, Like it's literally
Um,
the most customizable
I
thing.
would Yeah, I would advocate everyone use the combat wheelchair, but only the tweaks that I provide.
Ooh.
Um, mm,
We made one
um,
thing once. Anyway.
um, but yeah, like literally, um, and the idea of a wheelchair going up and down stairs,
Hmm.
um, being a sticking point for so many people, I
Yeah.
don't get.
Point
Well,
of contention is not
I
necessary.
understand how they get it. Because a lot of DMs have the feeling of this is starting equipment
Hmm.
and oh boy, they want a magic item as starting equipment. And their knee jerk reaction is to go, nope, nope,
Hmm.
shut it down, shut it all down.
I guess, yeah.
But if you take a second to consider,
Mm-hmm.
The fact that this has literally no way that occurs to me after 4 days of thinking about this,
Mm-hmm.
that can like, there's no way I can think of to break a game with the fact that the chair is a fucking hover glide.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I assume I haven't looked into this further, but I assume like under um if it were underwater it wouldn't work very well.
Yeah, we there's actually a thing later on about certain types of terrain that are good for it versus not.
Mhm. Mhm.
Like snowy terrain it suffers in, stuff like that. Um, but yeah, I don't like the sentence of, "Wait, what? What do you mean I sound ridiculous? Hmm?"
Oh,
As part of
what? Why would you?
yeah,
Wait, okay,
yeah,
so this is
the
this is
last
in
sentence of,
response
"But it could"
to
yeah,
yeah,
"But it can flow up and down stairs. Isn't that unfair? No, unless you plan on making all the able-bodied characters at level 1 also remain on ground floors only and never going up and down stairs and into dungeons. If you were planning on doing that, then that's fair. No comma." Um,
right.
wait, what? What do you mean I sound ridiculous? Hmm? Like, dude,
Yeah, that's not
it's an
necessary.
item.
That's just a snipe,
I
really.
don't I don't need snark in an item description.
Yeah, again,
Um,
like if you're gonna just tell me what it does, like usability wise, then don't don't. Personal comments are a thing in a lot of written works, and things like Volo's guide have them as
mhm.
little like little notes basically that are inside that are just completely separate
Yeah,
from the
little letters to the
actual
editor.
exactly little letters to the editor and not um anything that is part of the actual text. So I don't. Hmm. Hmm. Big
Yeah.
hmm.
Um, um, I have seen some people complaining that the chair has equipment that comes with it, and I 100% agree with her point of, yes, in much the same way as a sword comes with a sheath and belt, a Dungeoneer's pack comes with rope and caltrops, or a horse comes with a saddle and bridle.
Hmm.
The combat wheelchair comes with seatbelts and gloves. No problem with that.
Yeah.
Like,
No.
it
Absolutely.
makes sense.
Yeah, that's fine.
Um, which brings us to my second favorite comment.
Okay.
Um, but wheelchairs have never been in Dungeons and Dragons. This is nonsense. Um, we suggest you read R.A. Salvatore's Drizzt novels, which are canon to D&D.
Okay.
Um,
Now, having not read them,
first off, no comma. First
read.
off, no apostrophe in Drizzt.
Ooh, yeah.
Um,
Mmm.
yeah. Second off, no comma between novels and which. Thirdly, um, I don't know about you,
Mm.
Alejo, but in my D&D world, Drizzt doesn't exist.
Yeah, that's also very true.
It
Like,
is
what relevance does this have?
it is
Unless,
it is canon to it is canon to Eberron.
yeah, even so, like, it's what relevance does this have to anyone who does anything that isn't Forgotten Realms? You know, like, or Eberron, like only Eberron really benefits from you knowing, oh, look at what Drizzt got. Like Eberron already has that kind of stuff in it. So like you can look at it already. But even so, there's that's it's
Yeah,
this argument like this point just doesn't hold water when you look at it in any other light.
yeah.
Okay, but Driz did it. It's like if you were at
But
my table, right, and you were like, "But Driz did it," I'd be like, who?" And
yeah,
then they
who the
go,
fuck is that? Yeah.
yeah. Then they go like, "Oh, you know, the guy from the D&D novels." I'm like, "What? What D&D novels? What like are they in the world right now? Did you write them? Is this your made up character in your own head? Like I don't. What? There's precedence for it outside, sure, but at the moment, I don't. Okay."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Drizzt never rolled a nat 20.
That's very
But yeah,
strange.
no. Uh, I get the point being that if it's good enough for R.A. Salvatore, um, a member who is, of course, canonized, or
Right.
sorry, an author whose work is canonized, then it should be good enough for you, which is an appeal to
It
authority.
is. Yep.
Um, but again, like, by all means, use a combat wheelchair, but your reasoning here,
Yeah, I was gonna say you can just say it's homebrew, you can use it or you don't. Like that's all you need to say. You don't need to say,
yeah.
but Drizzt though. It
Hmm.
doesn't need to be said.
Hmm. Um, which, yeah, from there, um, and they do actually make a good point with why would anyone need a wheelchair? The world has magic.
Mm-hmm.
Again, we recommend you read Salvatore's Drizzt, still no
Don't
apostrophe,
don't
novels. Additionally,
don't need
healing
to.
spells like restoration and regeneration are very costly. And what about those of us simply born without disabilities? You cannot regenerate or restore what was not there to begin with. Uh,
That honestly, that second part, like after the first sentence, that whole part right there,
mhm.
totally for it. Absolutely. Like you again, you're
Yeah.
appealing again to Drizzt, and I'm like, that still doesn't have relevancy. Okay, but after that, yes, restoration, regeneration are costly, and then regenerating something that you didn't have in the first place, like you can't really do that. So yeah, that's it's fine. That's good.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yes, like 100%. Like once more for the people in the back, hell yes.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the chair was never created to make a disabled character better than an able-bodied character. It was made to enable characters with disabilities to go adventuring the same as an able-bodied character.
Mm-hmm.
Coolio. If you take issue with disabled people celebrating and having fun with the game they love, then you need to reconsider your stance on disability. Disability is nothing to be ashamed about.
Agreed.
Coolio.
You,
Um,
I don't
and
think it was the issue with disabled people celebrating having fun with the game, though. I don't
yeah,
like
yeah.
that's not the issue.
I personally I personally have not seen anyone on Twitter say if you use a wheelchair, then fuck you.
Yeah, exactly.
Um,
I think that's a very strange. That would be an incredibly strange point to take. A stance to take of, yeah, you're disabled. I don't like it. Like that's not a stance that people take. That is not something that. Okay,
um,
thank you for defeating that straw man.
yeah.
Really appreciate it.
But here's a point that I think you'll enjoy, Leho. And
Yeah,
remember, no one is making you use this supplement. It is here and exists for those of us who need and who want to see ourselves in tabletop games we so dearly enjoy.
yeah,
Happy adventuring.
yeah,
Hell yeah.
yeah. It goes without saying. Like,
Um,
mm-hmm. Okay.
so, proficiencies.
Mm-hmm.
Combat Wheelchair is designed to be easy to maintain, upgrade, and repair. Its simplicity is a necessity as an adventurer may not always be able to find a smith, artificer, or other such tinkerer to pit stop at. Yes, makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
As a result, you now have proficiency in Tinker's tools. You are considered as being proficient in using your wheelchair both in everyday tasks and as a weapon in combat.
Sure.
Makes sense.
Yep. For it.
Um, personally, I okay, hold on. I also need to get my AC going.
Yep.
Um, I think I don't know for certain, but I think the combat wheelchair is meant to be as a background, given that you are getting proficiencies from it.
Oh.
Um, and some other stuff that we'll see later.
Okay.
Personally, I'd be fine with people kind of stacking backgrounds on this.
Yeah, I don't see why it would
I
be a bad thing.
I was an acolyte and a wheelchair like user.
Proficient in wheelchair. Yes.
Yes, yes, I am very good at wheelchair.
Mm-hmm. 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 No,
Sorry,
absolutely.
I'm running on 4.5 hours of sleep. Words are not going to be my strong suit
That's
on this
fine, dude.
podcast.
Don't worry about it. It's a weird one. Plus, we have it's a barrel of quality. Go on.
um. So yeah, that I have no problem with. However, I would make that a little bit better.
Mm-hmm.
I would say if you're playing a spellcasting class, such as wizard, sorcerer, or warlock,
Mm-hmm.
and you are using this, I would personally let any player who has this get the mending cantrip for free, and I would not count it against their spells known because it would make sense that a wizard
Yeah.
or a warlock or a sorcerer who was in this would pretty quickly prioritize how to learn to fix their wheelchair.
Yeah, especially since it is a 5 foot like cube. I think mending's
Mhm.
that's its
Th-
restriction.
there are rules for mending later on that we'll get into.
Oh, okay, interesting.
Um, and I honestly, I think she went a little too conservative, and I think she could have made it better.
Okay,
Um, but yeah, there's a few buffs I think this thing needs, and like a couple nerfs, and then one change.
sure, sure.
Um,
Take the
let's
helm,
see.
man. Take the helm.
I shall. Portability. One of the best-selling features of this item is its case of portability. You can take it anywhere on your adventures. This is due to its collapsible design, which enables a user to pack it up or pull it out whilst on the go.
Sure.
Folded up, the wheelchair fits neatly onto the back of any cart and can even be attached to the saddlebags of a mount.
Yep, makes sense.
Seem, seems reasonable.
Yeah,
Go
I'm
for it.
for it. Yeah.
If you plan on trying to carry the combat wheelchair by yourself once it has been folded up, remember that it can be quite a challenge to do so, especially over long distances.
Hmm.
Your carrying capacity is your strength score multiplied by 15, the result being how much you can carry in pounds, as this wheelchair doesn't rely on a motor but a mix of manual and small magically imbued set of beacon stones. That's what
Okay.
the Beardy Boys are getting mad about.
Beacon
Which
stones.
are rough. Huh? Yeah,
They're okay.
it's basically, you know how some wheelchairs, have, like, a little joystick that allows you to control it?
Yes.
That's basically what the beacon stones are, and through the
Oh.
magic of the beacon stones, that's what allows you to go upstairs.
Oh. So okay. So they're okay. Well, that's stupid that they're mad about it. Let's continue.
It
Okay.
is!
All right. Just
Um, it is more lightweight than other wheelchairs available through the realms, weighing only 25 pounds.
mhm.
Um, yeah,
It's more
I'm
it's more lightweight than other wheelchairs available throughout the realms, as if
no no comma.
yeah. There's also the thing of like I guess so. This is so we're already taking into account the fact that there is more than one world that this can be a part of.
Forgotten Realms.
Yeah, well, Forgotten Realms is different than Eberron. They're two separate worlds, you know. So now I'm
Mm, yeah.
confused. Is this a? I assume this is a Realms thing instead of an Eberron thing.
Um,
I don't know.
yeah,
It's a minor point.
the
It's not for or against it. I
There
just it's
there's a
confusing me.
bunch of yeah, there's a bunch of editing errors in
Hmm. Yeah,
this,
definitely.
which, like, normally is kinda par for the course
Hmm.
on homebrew stuff,
Yes. Yeah.
but given that this woman is also, like, petitioning, WotC to hire her as a
Hmm.
disability reader/editor, slash editor, uh,
Wait. Sorry.
it's not a great resume. Uh
Yeah. Okay. All right. Anyway.
What once again, personally, another nitpick, and I'm not editing nitpicks are not to, I guess, distract from the quality of the work as a whole.
No, of course.
Ultimately, we're not a grammar. Well, yeah, no, I know you know. I'm just describing to any listeners.
Hmm. No, no, I'm agreeing. I'm
Um,
just agreeing.
yeah, we are not a grammar podcast. We are a tabletop
Usually.
podcast, usually. However, and, like, I'm usually willing to skim over some grammar
Hmm.
errors,
Hmm.
but it's kind of rife with them.
Yeah, when you start noticing them more and more, that just becomes like, oh, another one. I see it. You know. Yeah, I feel it. I feel
Mhm. I will say at least the errors are consistent. It it
it.
it is well, it's way more frustrating when you read a paper
Hmm.
and someone, like, leaves out a comma in one spot and then in another spot they use the comma.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
And to me, it's more indicative of if the errors are consistent, that means that they just don't use that rule for commas,
Sure, yeah.
and it's less likely that they slapped it together all in one go and hit submit.
Yeah, it does it's less of a first draft. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I
So
would imagine
so
this is at
that
least a second, at least.
yeah. Um, Again, another nitpick, at least in terms of formatting,
Mhm.
I don't need to be told what my carrying capacity is on an item description. That should not be part of an item description.
I mean, okay, so I'll actually advocate for this because in the thing that we made, I put in descriptions for certain things that and where you could find them in the player's handbook, just so that um people were aware of like where I was getting this information from. Like with which sign was it? The one that gave relentless endurance. When you touch somebody, you can give it to them, or touch anything, you can give it to them. Um,
Mhm.
I referenced back to what it was, what it did, because I wasn't going to assume that everyone had remember. Like it was meant to
Had
be
read
that.
their player's handbook.
Yes. Well, so in those days, I didn't assume it, but it was more. It wasn't that. It was more so that they could look at this and have it be all there, and they didn't have to refer to the player's handbook every time they needed to look at what's a relentless endurance. What is that? Like it was for more ease of access.
Yeah. I will say there is some stuff later on where I was going to check the cost of something,
Hmm.
specifically the cost of a rowboat.
Hmm.
She made an upgrade that allows the wheelchair to go on water, cost the same as a rowboat.
Okay.
Um, and like I was literally reaching for my book,
Yep.
and then like I read the next line, it's the same price as a rowboat, and I'm like, hell yeah, thank you for this.
There you go.
Um, it is part of that justification. So like I can totally see why there is like this predominant thing of I have to justify my homebrew.
Hmm.
So like I get it, I do.
Hmm.
It's just
I
a bit,
yeah.
bit of a pain to read.
Yeah, I mean, like again, like I am less critical of this aspect because I think it's at least important if you were to just look at this like quickly. Um, so
Mhm,
I don't know. I think in this case I'm less more of or I'm less more. Yeah, that's brain. Hello.
mhm.
I'm more okay with it.
Welcome to Table Talk.
Hello. Anyway, yeah,
Um, but yeah, it is important to remember that 25 pounds is the base weight for the chair. As you add upgrades, your chair will begin to weigh more and become more cumbersome. Totally on board for it. You get something cool, you have a little bit of a drawback.
yeah, it makes sense.
Um, I think some of the weights that she has are she makes some stuff way too heavy.
Sure,
And I'd be totally okay with like making it less so for a player.
sure, sure.
But that's me.
Well, the
Um,
other thing is that you have to remember that encumbrance rules are optional. Like,
yeah.
so I don't know.
Mhm. As you add upgrades, chair begin to weigh more and become more cumbersome. Your DM may ask that you keep track of your wheelchair's weight.
Yeah,
The
well,
weight for each upgrade is specified in the upgrade section of this item.
okay, yep.
Oh, you're roboting?
You're roboting, probably. It's more your side, I think.
I'm at 100 ping.
Oh, what? I'm at 100 as well.
Oh, shall we change the region?
Sure, let's do it. Let's go to.
Oh wait, no, never mind. We're both nearby.
Yeah, it's true.
I
Anyway.
don't know.
Yeah.
um, as you find yourself struggling to carry your chair when you aren't using it, be sure to ask your party members for help. After all, what are friends for? Um,
Sure.
yeah. Uh, a a paramount thing for a combat wheelchair is not only durability but also portability,
Yeah.
especially. if you're going to be adventuring, and I do enjoy that they made sure to take these things into account.
Yeah.
Um, because speaking as a DM who has balanced goblins constantly like scritching at the
Mm-hmm.
back of his mind,
Mm-hmm.
whenever someone's like, "I made a homebrew item, it allows me to,"
Right.
insert effect here. There's always the goblins are going, "Yeah, but that disagrees with page 131." Um,
Yeah. Yeah. Oh no, I feel that. I feel that.
so I absolutely enjoy the fact that you ease my goblins with saying immediately, like, portability, versatility, like, we know what we're doing here.
Yeah, and I would say that that
Um,
last little sentence or two, those that's like just some fluff. It's ultimately
yeah,
unnecessary, and but it's at least I see. It gives me more of the uh, it gives me more of an insight into what the author is like, I guess, which is fine, but
mm,
again, ultimately unnecessary. I would say.
I'm pretty okay with the fluff. Fluff is cool in homebrew, in my opinion.
Sure. Yeah.
And I get less of a aroma of snark and more of an aroma
No,
of, "Yeah, let's do this, friends."
yeah, I was gonna say it's not a negative look into like what they're like. Definitely, it's a positive one. But
Mhm,
I'm just gonna say it's ultimately,
mhm,
I would say unnecessary for me. But again, it's not like it detracts.
mhm,
So whatever.
mhm, yeah. Um So moving on
Hmm.
into versatility of the combat wheelchair. The combat wheelchair lends itself well to both strength and dexterity builds, makes sense, but is also just as perfect for a magic user, of course.
Hmm.
The frame of the chair and the wheels are made from lightweight but durable materials, allowing it to be versatile for the user. When casting spells with magical effects, the combat wheelchair is considered as being part of you, an extension of your body. I see no issue with this. I can see how some people could have issues with it, but also keep in mind, like, backpacks are considered a part of you, so
Yeah, no, I agree. The only thing that I would say is the emphasis on weight is indicative of it being something for more strength users because encumbrance. If you're going to stress encumbrance,
yeah.
then strength is more important.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's not like you're spending a lot of time picking up the wheelchair usually.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's one of those things where I don't I guess the I guess the encumbrance is more for an animal. I guess like take into
I
account it's and boat.
yeah.
I don't know. It's just weird.
I would
I
say
guess.
they actually do a pretty good job with, later on, there's some upgrades that you can get that are so heavy that they sort of lock you out of other upgrades.
That's cool.
So like if you get a super heavy like shielding upgrade,
Hmm.
you can't get the boat wheels
Okay.
because you're so heavy you'll just sink.
Yeah, yeah. That makes sense.
Mhm.
Um, I
And again,
guess
like soothes the mind goblins.
right. It's true. It's true. The yeah. It's one of those things where I guess just when I see people stress like this is this weight and encumbrance is this, then my brain goes so strength, 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 and then it says strength and dexterity. I'm like, and magic users. I'm like, they can't really
Well,
carry it, I guess, but I don't know.
do also consider like propping up like a long gun on the rail of your or sorry, on the armrest of your chair or something.
What about it?
Like if you're going to fire, that's a dex related action
Yeah, no, that's fine.
and you yeah.
Well,
Anyway, uh,
I'm just
mm,
saying, like, it's one of those things where, unless you are having somebody else carry it, I don't see why weight should be an issue, except for things like the boat wheels and um,
mhm,
the shield wheels. But then it's just fluff of you can't have this without the other because it's too heavy, right?
mhm.
So,
Yeah, I do see what you mean with saying that it's a bit less fitted to Dex characters because the half elven rogue with a strength score of 8 is going
yes,
to have a harder time to lift this into the wagon.
yes, exactly. So. again, I don't see why it's necessary to worry about, like, to give us the table of, or the description of encumbrance and stuff when
Mhm.
it just should not matter too much in the grand
There
scheme.
there are some things later on, some attacks you can make with this that do rely on strength or dex,
Okay.
and I think that's what the author is more talking about.
Okay.
Um, so yeah, as a result of the chair acting as an extension of yourself,
Hmm.
both you and the chair share the benefit of the spell's effect for the duration or until the spell is dropped. Basically, if you have Shield of Faith, then the monsters aren't going to just start attacking the wheelchair, which now has a low AC or
Yeah, I would imagine
whatever.
it's part of your body. You don't have to worry about.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which because it's part of your body, when you do wild shaping and like
Yes.
polymorph and stuff, it of course morphs into your new
Of
form,
course. Yeah. Makes
as
sense.
does all your equipment that's attached to you.
Yeah. Exactly.
Um, the part that I don't get about the wild shaping and transmutation section
Hmm.
is it says the aid of the chair is still in effect in this new shape. Um, which then makes me question like, so then if they have the armor upgrade that like
Yeah.
upgrades the AC and they turn into a leopard, do they get the AC?
Yeah. Because
Because
they should
raw,
didn't.
yeah, raw,
No.
if you have a shield as a druid and you turn into a leopard, you don't get that bonus.
Yeah. I would say it would make it a little too good in that case.
Um,
I think it's just a bad wording issue. I assume it's not the intent.
yes, given the very blatant attempt at not making this better than
Yeah,
anyone, I would
exactly.
assume it is a wording error.
Yeah. So
Um,
and with the next sentence there, when the druid changes back, they reappear as sitting in the chair. I
hmm,
assume it just means it'll still be in the same position as you left, so you'll be fine.
yes. Yeah. Which I can't imagine the DM would be dick enough
Yeah,
to say, "Oh, because you wild shaped when you wild shape back, you're out of the chair." Like,
yeah,
fuck
that'd be
you.
so stupid. I would be like, what the hell is that? Why are you doing that, dude?
Like that's one of the things where like the table as a whole needs to be like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I would imagine everyone
Mr.
would kind
DM
of.
man, I'm pretty sure that's stupid.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure everyone would stick up and go, you really, why do you hate this character?
Yeah. Yeah, dude, but why are you so mad at Rick? His
Yeah,
character's cool.
exactly. He's having a great time. Why'd you throw him out of his wheelchair after he polymorphed, dude?
Why would you pick him up and suplex him across the table?
Exactly. It's one of those things where it's just like, yeah, no, you don't need to worry about that. I'm pretty sure.
Like, I'm pretty sure if a DM does that, like that's almost indicative of a problem to
Yes.
begin with.
Oh, absolutely. I would agree.
Um, y- yeah. Again, happy it's mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
Sad that it has to be.
Yeah. Again, I don't know if it has to be, but we'll see.
Time will tell.
Yeah.
Um, equipment. As already mentioned, the combat wheelchair comes with equipment, but let us address what this means. What do we categorize as equipment? Well, in much the same way as a Dungeoneer's pack comes with lots of handy little items like torches, a tinderbox, ropes, caltrops, etc., the combat wheelchair. Wait, okay, no grammar error there.
You're
The
fine.
combat wheelchair comes with handy little items. Sorry, I'm on edge now.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, many unlike the guards in Metal Gear Solid when they
What
have
was that?
the red exclamation point appear
Oh
and
yeah.
now they're on edge.
Oh, it's the when they go from that. Yeah, they're in caution. It's just
Mhm.
sweep the air.
Many of these many of these are actually built into the chair the same way as an explorer's pack has pouches and compartments, but only one item comes separate from the chair: the gloves, which you may choose to wear or not. Fucking of course you would.
Yeah,
Um, the combat wheelchair comes with two pieces of set equipment: gloves. I'm not going to read the description.
they're
Rear
gloves.
back rear backrest compartment, which I really like. This bag, which has been designed to fit snug against the back of the chair, is attached to the seat's backrest and the camber bar.
Oh,
This item is the same as an explorer's pack in your starting gear, so you may wish to forego that and use the backrest compartment instead. It can hold the same items and amount as a standard explorer's pack can.
nice.
And even if you feel like being a dick DM and going, "Oh, well, that's broken," fucking let them buy an explorer's pack and tighten the straps of the
Yeah,
backpack to the
exactly.
back of the chair.
It's the same thing. It's exactly the same thing.
It is
So,
the same thing.
I like I I don't know, have you seen some kid who goes to school in a wheelchair and they have a backpack and they do the same thing and they just
Yeah.
tighten the straps on the back?
Yeah. Yeah.
Easy. Yeah,
Never seen that in my life.
right,
You're talking
exactly.
crazy talk,
It
Alejo.
why would people have an issue with that?
Disabled people don't know how to use backpacks.
Right? It's I don't know. It's like
It's it's of course they can put an explorer's like pack on their
of course.
fucking
Yes.
wheelchair.
Ugh.
I
I
I would once again, it's one of those things where it's like I really hope that this would not have to be mentioned, but
yeah.
I am afraid given that this person is like a disability sensitivity like reader,
Hmm.
she has had experiences that have taught her that it is necessary, and I
Yeah,
really hope that's not true.
which sucks.
Yeah,
Sucks.
dude,
Yeah,
fuck me.
absolutely.
Anyway, the anatomy of the chair. So far, it's been mentioned that the combat wheelchair is based on the design of the chairs used in high impact sports such as wheelchair rugby and basketball. But what does that mean regarding how the chair actually looks? None of the items used to make the base frame of the chair give the user any significant benefit. All they do is provide the foundations of an item that allows disabled adventurers to be as independent as abled adventurers.
Hmm.
There are five main aspects to the chair's anatomy: slanted wheels. The wheels allow for easy passage over coast, forest, grassland, and mountain terrains, similar to how a ranger finds ease over lands familiar to them.
Hmm.
Now,
So
I
I.
really hope this
Hmm.
is just poorly worded.
Yes, because that sounds like you would have favored
It's
terrain, quote unquote, right?
yes.
For all
Yeah,
of those things.
yes.
Immediately
Like,
once you read it, I was
hey,
just like,
hey, like, hey, you know how a ranger picks one, you have four.
yeah. But and as we continue here, the artificers who carry
Um,
out data research discover that these four terrain types are the ones most often traversed by adventuring parties. Slant of the
again,
wheels,
a little bit
as
of flavor.
yeah, slant of the wheels as they turn inwards and upwards disperses weight evenly and gives you good control when traveling over these terrains. The spokes are covered by wooden covers to prevent debris getting tangled in them. So yeah,
Mhm.
I would assume, and I hope this is the correct assumption, that it's just you can move through these areas,
Yeah, yeah, with
right?
no issue.
With no issue, exactly. Like it
Um,
not you do not
yeah,
get hampered by terrain and all that, like in the sense of if it's difficult terrain, you will never be hampered by it, right?
yeah. Um, so I'm just looking up favored terrain
Yeah.
real quick, just so I can get a reading on it. You're particularly familiar with
What page is that?
one type of natural and it's on roll20.net.
Oh.
Uh,
Wow.
whatever page that is. Dude, I type quicker than I flip.
It's fine.
Um, you are particularly familiar with one type of natural environment and are adept at traveling and surviving in such regions. Choose one type of favorite terrain: Arctic, coast, desert, forest, grassland, mountain, swamp, or the Underdark.
Hmm.
When you make an intelligence or wisdom check related to your favorite terrain, your proficiency bonus is doubled if you're using a skill you're proficient in. While traveling for an hour or more in your favorite terrain, you gain the following benefits. Difficult terrain doesn't slow your group's travel, a point which I've never liked.
Hmm.
Your group can't become lost except by magical means. Even when you are engaged in another activity while traveling, such as foraging, navigating, and tracking, you remain alert to danger. If you are traveling alone, you can move stealthily at a normal pace. When you forage, you find twice as much food. While tracking other creatures, you also learn their exact number, their sizes, and how long ago they passed through the area. You choose additional favored terrain types at 6th and 10th level. Um, but yeah, given that we literally just read the chair was never created to make a disabled character better than an
Yeah,
able-bodied character, I think this is just poorly worded.
yeah. So just a little editing issue there, but that's it.
Yeah. Another editing issue, and this is the one that drove my goblins to a near wah.
Mm,
Uh, the spokes are covered by wooden covers to prevent debris getting tangled in them.
covered by
Well, then they're
covers.
not spokes. Well, then they're not spokes, then are they?
Yeah, no,
If they're
just a solid
completely
wheel.
covered by wooden covers, then those wooden covers are going to be what makes contact with the ground, and the spokes are now useless.
Yeah,
Like, I get the fact that you're trying to justify not getting tangled in weeds, and
just make them solid. That's all you need to do
yeah,
for the spoke issue. It's just make it solid. Like, uh,
um,
just make it solid and just say, or don't even say, just say they don't get tangled in in common debris.
yeah, exactly. Like anything outside of incredibly rough terrain,
Oh,
much like
difficult
how any
terrain.
other character gets slowed in rough terrain.
Mm-hmm.
Just say you are slowed normally by rough terrain and are not additionally hampered by things such as vines or weeds.
Exactly. It doesn't need this whole big thing about the spokes.
Yeah, and like I get that you're trying to justify it, but that's a sentence I would write at 3:30 in the morning.
Yeah, that's fair. Well, yeah, it's hearing the spokes are covered by wooden covers. I'm like, okay, yeah. I mean,
Mm. Is
okay,
there not a name for that?
I was gonna say there's the spokes are covered by wooden covers. It just doesn't sound right to me. It's like,
Eh.
I don't know.
Again, just editing issue.
Yes, exactly.
It
Not
is
doesn't detract.
um upgrades for tires that account for more terrains at an additional cost are available in the upgrade section of the item's description.
Hmm.
I think that's really cool. Like, yeah, dude, let me get my snow
Yeah,
tires. Of
absolutely.
course. Um Pouches. About the frame of the chair, an additional 3 small pouches near the armrests. One of these serves as a water skin holder to save you from having to waste time stopping and rummaging around through the rear backrest compartment. Looking for your drink, it acts the same way as another adventurer might wear theirs at their hip for convenience. Again, don't need the justification. I would assume that it was out as a DM.
Yeah.
The other 2 pouches can be used to hold your weapons, much like a sword belt or shield harness, or it can simply be used to carry a bit more gear, much like trouser pockets. As a big fan of pouches in all shapes and forms and belts, um, and who loves having many pouches, I'm about it.
So yeah, I mean I'm also slightly fine with it. The only issue I have is I guess it would just be like, do explorers packs and all that come with additional pouches?
I mean, it's something that's usually assumed that they do.
Yeah, I mean fair enough, I guess.
Well,
It's just one of those things where I feel like you could just clip a couple of things on there, like literally just have little clips or just parts in the chair just to have them there. You don't need pouches
yeah.
for it because that just gives additional things that might not like be entirely overlooked by DMs that are going totally raw with
Mhm.
with the rules, but I don't know.
Yeah, I would say my greatest nitpick for this would be, do you fucking store a sword in a pouch?
Yeah, that's the
Um,
thing, right? Like that immediately
but
made me go, I don't know about that, but sure, I get
yeah,
what you mean."
yeah, exactly. Like I know what they mean, and it's
Yeah,
a nitpick.
yeah,
I get what they're saying.
exactly.
I think. I
And
hope.
that's and like my pouch thing is just the only issue that I could see being logical. Is like
Mhm.
additional pouches for no cost when other people don't get them is a little interesting, I guess.
I mean, pouches are also something that are usually pretty loosey goosey in D&D in general.
Yeah, it's true.
In most campaigns that I've been in, people are like, "Oh, I put the money like I put half of my gold in another pouch." And most DMs don't go, "Do you have another pouch?" It's kind of something that most DMs just go, "Yeah, I would assume as adventurers you would have pouches on you."
Yeah, I suppose. I guess I've been jaded by having too realistic kind of things.
Mhm.
So that might be
Um,
entirely on me, and I will accept that if that is the case.
um, ba- 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 ba.
Seat.
Seat tilt lever.
Hmm.
This small lever sits just under the seat. When pressed as an action, it releases a lock mechanism that causes the seat to tilt up so that getting in and out of the chair is easier. I would
Okay.
say it would cost half your movement instead of being an action because you are essentially standing up.
Yeah, exactly. So,
Um, yeah, a little buff there couldn't hurt.
yeah, I feel like that won't completely like because you're actually making it so that this thing suffers because of action economy if you make it an action,
Yes.
which is quite
Whereas it's more analogous to standing up from being prone because there's no real sitting action
exactly.
it or condition, I guess.
Yeah.
Is sitting would sitting be a condition?
I
Like
yes.
like if you get in a bar fight and someone shoves you over a stool and you like just happen to sit down in the stool,
Right.
I suppose it would be
I
a
I
condition.
guess I'll just put it on my little DM screen that I got right with the other conditions, little post-it note sitting.
Should it cost a quarter movement?
I mm,
I would say in this case, given that most people tend to like build up the chair around them, especially if you're getting additional armor,
yeah.
which let's be honest, why fucking wouldn't you?
Yeah, exactly.
Because I've seen pictures of people in like these super armored up wheelchairs and they look like mini tanks and it's
Oh yeah,
hype
yeah,
as
yeah. It's
it's
true.
so
It's
cool.
super cool.
Um in which case, I'd say if the chair is more built up around you, standing up, especially if you are disabled, I'd say consider it as if you were prone.
Yeah, yeah. That's the thing, right? Like I so with this the it releases a
Right.
lock that it tilts up so that getting in and out of the chair is easier. Like
Mm,
I the
It's well, like not all fucking people in wheelchairs are like chair ridden. I guess
no,
you
no,
would
no, of
say.
course, yeah. What I mean, what I'm thinking is like, I guess it's more just like to allow. I'm I don't even know what it's
It's
needed for.
it's so that you can roll your wheelchair up to the edge of the cliff, pop out, and then do the thing where Gandalf chases down the Balrog as it's falling.
So you just launch yourself out.
Dude, yeah.
Okay. I guess like again, like with like cuz you're not prone when you're in your chair, right? So this
Mhm.
isn't I don't how does
Would you
this
say it's a
work?
free action then?
I don't even know, man. Like this is just it's strange. It's just
I
strange to have, I
I would
guess.
I suppose I'd be alright with it being a free action.
Yeah,
I mean,
like
I get having a seat tilt lever because like they exist in uh the combat wheelchairs of real life, so
sure.
why not have it?
No, I mean like it's fine. I just don't like the I'm trying to figure out what it needs to be used for in an action sense. Why it would be an action. I'm trying to justify the action aspect, I guess.
Oh, like why it's so costly?
Yeah, like what is the reason behind this? Because I can't think of it being so costly to just adjust something to get up more.
I think it's probably because they didn't want to make it seem too good. That's the only
And again, what
guess
does this
I have.
do? Like, other than you get up
Allows you to
more.
stand up.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. Like, you get up. That's all you
Yeah,
do. But the thing is, if we're gonna make it so that it costs half your movement instead, you're not prone. You're not like there's
yeah, but there
nothing
is no prone and there is no sitting in 5e though.
exactly. Like I don't it's a weird quasi thing of like
Yeah.
what are we doing with this, you know?
There's no sitting in 5e, Alejo. People go to bar stools and then they T-pose.
Assert dominance. Yeah, absolutely. I don't know. It's just
Yeah,
I'm trying to wrap my brain around it more, and it like the more I try, the more I'm just like I don't even know if we need to worry about this.
yeah. I would just say it could be made better, and
Yeah,
by that I mean not like, oh, you did a bad job making it. I mean like it could
clearer
be better,
maybe.
as in it needs a buff.
So yeah, something. It needs something. It definitely like because at the moment I
Like
just don't see.
as an action, like oof.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know.
I would the most costly I'd be willing to make it is a bonus action.
Yeah, exactly. Like it. Yeah, I don't know what the combination would be that would make it so that you needed it to be an action, right?
Maybe it's because you're not attacking with your weapon, but are instead like trying to hit a switch.
Standing up.
Maybe it's because it's the use an object action.
Oh, okay. Huh. All right. I guess, but
Eh,
it's
eh.
if it's an extension of yourself, are you really like worrying too much about it in this case cuz it's an essential part, right?
Someone could make well, you could make the case that drinking a potion that's in your equipment is a part of yourself.
I wouldn't
That
make
take
that case though.
and that well, I wouldn't either, but
Yeah.
I'm saying that to drink a potion, which is in your equipment, which this counts as your equipment,
Mhm.
to like reach into your bag,
Mhm.
which the analogous thing for this is reach down between your legs and hit the button, and then drink the potion is an action.
Yeah, and again, I would even go so far as saying no, that's a bonus action. So
All right, yeah,
like I don't know. I feel like it would be more analogous to a bonus action because you can still do things while you drink a potion. Like if I'm drinking something, I can side eye and do stuff.
yeah. That's why I say drinking a potion as drinking a potion is a bonus action.
Yeah,
Drinking a potion safely is an action. If you
sure.
want to drink a potion as a bonus action, sure, but you'll invoke attack of opportunity.
Yeah, okay, I could see that. Yeah, that's fair because you're slightly distracted and all that. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. That's how I use it in my game.
Yeah, that makes sense. Anyway,
Um, feel free to steal.
I will.
Um, adjustable armrests. These armrests are affixed to the chair and adjustable to your arm's length. Within one of the armrests, your choice is a beacon stone. Refer to the final point in this section for details on beacon stones.
Okay.
Um, yeah, we'll come back to that.
Yeah, just
Seatbelts.
okay.
These seatbelts are affixed to the chair and strap about the waist, knees, and shins. This helps to hold you in the chair correctly and prevents them from fall. It prevents. Oh yeah, your legs.
Mhm.
Um, I I thought it was the user. Uh,
Oh,
uh, I was like, hell yeah, dude, combat couch.
yeah.
Uh, prevents them from falling out whenever the chair is struck, thrown, or handled roughly by a creature or spell in combat. These belts all have clasp buckles, which can be undone by using a bonus action to press the release buttons. Okay, well, see, here it's a
See,
bonus action.
that I would say more action though, maybe.
Yeah, because that's multiple buckles.
Yeah, exactly. Like I don't know. It takes me God.
Maybe they make this a bonus action so that when you combine this
Plus the lever tilt, then you can
plus the
launch
lever.
yourself.
Yeah, that's your action and bonus action, and you still have your movement.
I yeah, I guess. Yeah. Okay.
So if you want to get the like, if you want to do the thing where like you slap the arms of the chair and you're like, all right, unbuckle yourself, stand up,
Yeah, yeah.
point to a guy, put your sword on your shoulder, and like fucking charge him.
Yeah, you could, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
but wait, no, 'cause then you can't swing your sword.
right. You would just charge them and be like, "Hey!"
I am here now.
Yeah, again, like I don't
But
know.
you can't. But you can rush them and T pose on them.
So, even if we just switch these two, I would feel a little better about it, I guess, as like first is
This
bonus action, this is action, but even so, like
this is why I think actually the lever should be movement. That way, like
that way you still have something to
you
do.
unbuckle your yeah, you unbuckle yourself, you get up, you run 15 feet, and you
Mhm.
fucking punch someone on the jaw.
Yeah, yeah, you could definitely if you are able to. This is the thing, right? With all the talk of having to need the wheelchair, then like what if you can't walk? So then
Oh yeah,
the point
then
is
in
more
which
so is for when you get knocked out of it or you get out of it voluntarily to get into a bed and then get into it, I guess.
or like you fall overboard and people like are wondering how do we use the action economy to get the person out of the chair.
Okay, okay, there you go. That's a better example to give me something to ground myself with,
Mhm.
because like
Uh, yeah, that was kind of the one I needed to ground myself with
yeah,
too.
no, that helps a lot actually. Okay, never mind then. I retract.
Um, Beacon Stone, the the beardy boys in the
I'm
distance.
excited.
These stones are common factory made by artificers across the realms for this sole purpose.
Okay.
They are magically imbued with very low level transmutation magic. To be specific, they carry about the same level of energy as a cantrip spell does, providing enough energy for a little boost and nothing more. Now, personally, something like a wand of firebolt, I
Mhm.
typically make that cost about 100 gold.
Sure. Yeah, it's a cantrip.
Uh, Cantrips for me are worth 100. First level spells are 1,000. Um,
Sure. Yeah. Okay.
so I would say base. Allowing all of the beacon stones in this, I'll count that only once.
Mhm.
Um, Despite the fact that if someone were to try to invent this as an artificer, I'd make them pay for the beacon stone however many times.
Yeah.
Um, I would say that's base 100 gold for the wheelchair, plus like I think it's 5 gold for a wheelchair in 5e.
Sure. I don't know.
It is an item that exists.
Yeah, I would guess. I don't know. I've never looked into it, I guess.
So I'll open up a notepad
Mhm.
because I did have some thoughts on the price of the chair.
Okay.
So 100G for beacon stone.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, each chair comes with one of these stones set into an armrest. Your choice. Again, for people that may have limited or no function in one uh, arm or
Yep.
the other.
Mhm.
Which I would assume would just be standard. I don't know why your choice is necessary, but
Yeah.
again, probably one of these things where I don't see how it's necessary, but it actually probably is,
I don't know.
sadly.
Yeah.
You can use it in two different ways. The first is that you can run your hand or fingers over it to indicate and guide the chair in which direction you want it to go. This use was designed for users who may not have full use of their
There
arms
you
or
go.
an illness or disability, which means they lack the energy to push the chair themselves.
Mhm.
Makes sense. Regardless of whether you push or direct the chair using the stone, the combat wheelchair always has a base movement speed of 25 feet.
Okay. Huh.
Uh, let's get through this point and
Yeah.
then we can discuss.
Okay.
The second way to use the stone is when faced with ascending or descending stairs, the true favored enemy of many a wheelchair user. Uh,
Nice.
refer to the next session section for details on how to use this chair with
Mhm.
stairs. Additionally, the beacon stone is unique in that it only responds to the owner's touch. If someone who is not the chair's user attempts to use the stone, the chair will not respond and
Okay.
will instead have to be moved using the push rims. Dispel magic has no effect upon the stone.
Okay.
Um, I'm actually less okay with that, but
It's like it definitely should like not dispel it entirely, but negate it for a little while, I would say.
Oh
Um,
no, my issue is with other people using the stone.
oh,
Um,
that no, I mean,
I'm fine with it as an enchantment, but
yeah,
I think that would drive the cost up because you're getting it specifically attuned to
to
you.
you. Well, that's the other thing. Like when you find a magic item and you attune to it, you are attuned to it, and only you can use it for until somebody else attunes to it for an hour.
Yes, but we don't see anything indicating that this allows people to reattune to it. In fact, it
Hmm.
specifically says that it is common factory made by artificers. Where is it? Um, does it not? Wait, doesn't it say somewhere that the stones are made for the user? I guess it does not.
No, doesn't.
No, okay. Um,
So I would add in just a this item is attuned to you, but doesn't take your attunement slot. I guess I don't know. It would be a weird quasi attunement. um,
yeah, a lot of things are about this are kind of quasi when it comes
exactly.
to it's like a quasi background or
Yeah.
um like I'm fine with the stones. I think the stones are cool.
Hmm.
I love the fact that they can go up and down stairs. It makes sense.
Yeah.
Helps keep the game moving.
Yeah, you don't want to have,
Um,
like you said, you don't want to slog the session down with, all right, everybody takes one end of the wheelchair and the other people take the other end, and then they have to carry you up
mhm,
the stairs. Like that would just be one of those things that feels like, not condescending.
antagonistic.
Yeah, that, and like it would probably just make the other person just feel bad about it, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
I wouldn't want that to be the case because I would just be like, oh man, I'm making, yeah, I don't know.
Um, but but yeah, no, like the stones having the same level as a cantrip makes sense.
Yes.
That's about a cantrip level of effect.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that they should be free. I think that that should be incorporated for the price of the wheelchair, and I think that the base price for the wheelchair should be higher than what it's described as
Sure.
because even with I think it's 75 gold that they have as the price for the combat wheelchair. I could be wrong.
Okay.
Um, but like even just 100 gold for
Yeah,
the material of the beacon stone, you're already under that.
I was immediately thinking that this was going to be 100 straight up, and then you said 75, and I was like, oh, okay.
And that's also not including the cost of the explorers pack.
Yeah, and what the thing is for this kind of thing, it's if it's just an inherent equipment thing, you don't spend that money unless you roll that money out because equipment either works as you take the equipment for your class or you just take the or you just roll it out and then buy your own equipment.
Mhm.
At least raw, right? And then with background stuff you just get that stuff. So if this is a
Yeah.
background, then you just get it. You just get it and it's fine, I guess, you know. Um a
Mhm.
I don't remember what the cost of a burglar's pack or like all that kind of stuff is, but they don't get included with backgrounds,
Mhm.
so I don't know.
I have I have them actually because
Ah,
according to dumpstadadventures.com, which is currently loading, which is why I'm kind of stalling for time at
I understand.
this current moment.
As you currently
A
stall, yes.
diplomats pack 39 gold, burglars pack 16 gold, dungeoneers pack 12, entertainers pack 40,
Okay.
explorers pack 10, priests pack 19, scholars pack 40.
Okay. Yeah, so yeah, and none of those are ever included with a background itself, so um
Mhm.
that's more just equipment for your class. So, I don't know. If
Yes.
this is quasi background, it's a little weird just to,
Mhm.
get it initially,
Yeah,
but
it's sort of quasi background,
quasi background, quasi magic
quasi
item,
class.
quasi class, yeah.
Yeah, it is undeniably a fucky item.
Yes.
I think it's cool, but it is fucky.
Yes.
Um, oh god, I lost my page. Okay. Um, Base movement of 25 feet.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Initially, I was thinking 30, but later on, there's a point that makes me okay with it being 25.
Okay.
So we can touch on that
Yeah,
later.
I will hold my comment.
Ascending and descending stairs. We all know dungeons often have a lot of stairs, and sweet Azalin, let's not get started on Castle Ravenloft's maze of steps.
It's
Let's
true.
face it, stairs are difficult, especially when you're in a wheelchair, which is why the beacon stone is here to help. By tapping your fingers or hand against the stone twice, you inform it that it needs to help you go up or down a flight of stairs. As a result, the chair begins to hover, starting at 2 feet off the ground, a nice amount, so as not to fuck with levitate.
Yep.
I think perfectly fine.
Yep.
Um, Using your fingers or hand on the stone surface, you guide it to go forwards or backwards, depending upon which direction the stairs go in. On the staircase, tapping the stone twice to hover up to the next steps, or tapping once if you would like it to hover down. The chair will always hover 2 feet over the step it is above when being used in this manner, and can continue ascending or descending like this until the end of the stairs has been reached. Once you have reached the top or bottom of the stairs, you can continue to move the chair as it usually does, using either the push rims or by directing it with the stone.
Sure. Yeah. I
Yeah, go for it.
I don't see an issue at all. Like, I guess the argument would be, well, now they're 7 feet up, right? Like it's a 7 foot square for them
Are
to.
you are you 5 feet sitting down?
Well, so what I mean is, creatures take up a 5 foot space when they are medium, right? It's a 5 foot square,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah,
Um,
5 foot by 5 foot length and width,
exactly, and
but
and
they
height,
hover two
and
feet
height,
up.
technically, and height.
Eh,
Um, very technically, right? You still have the 8 foot tall Goliaths who are technically medium or whatever. Um,
yeah,
but it is by all intents and purposes supposedly, if you look at it from a 3D perspective grid, they are also 5 foot square height. It's very strange. Um,
I've I've never heard that used anywhere.
Well, so I get that from the fact that if somebody is, and they say it, I believe in the PHP somewhere. I don't have my PHP with me, unfortunately. So but they say it in the PHP of, oh wait, I don't know. I can't get it right now. Anyway, so if somebody is 30 feet away from you and 30 feet up, they are just 30
Mhm.
feet from you, and that includes the height aspect. So it just makes me think each square from you to the thing is a 5 foot cube.
I suppose, yeah,
So
but I think that's more indicative of just trying to keep people from using the Pythagorean theorem
yeah,
in
absolutely.
combat, to which my answer is always screw you. You can't stop me from using my a squared and b squared.
I learned the theorem. I will use it. No.
Yeah,
So
I learned the whole theorem. I'm gonna use it.
so and again, this is I'm just trying to like play out the argument, I guess. And in that case, if they were trying to make the
Mhm.
argument of they are technically in a above that 5 foot square, then I'd be like, it doesn't matter, dude. Like they're
Yeah,
still in that 5 foot square.
yeah.
Like
Especially if a creature that's standing on a 30-foot ledge is 30 feet away from you,
exactly.
and we're ignoring the fact that that bugbear is 7 feet tall.
Hmm.
I think we can ignore that they are floating 2 feet off the ground and
Yes.
are sitting, which probably brings them to about head level
Yeah, that's
for
where I
you.
was that's where I was trying to get to with the whole using that kind of analogy. So yeah, it
Mhm.
doesn't matter. So whoever, like all the people that are very upset about it hovering 2 feet off the ground, can just go, play something else, I guess.
Mhm. Um, the self-propulsion variant. Using the create magic item downtime, Xanathar's Guide to Everything. Thank you for the reference.
Always
I
appreciated.
love you for putting that in. It's very appreciated. You or an ally can spend the time imbuing the chair with a low-level pulse of transmutation magic. This typically appears in the form of a dwarven rune engraved into the chair's frame. Once this process has been completed, you will find that you are now able to use telepathy.
There you go.
Mwah. I got there. To command the chair's movements, and it will respond accordingly.
Yeah,
This telepathy does not require concentration. Fucking, of course not.
of course not. Yeah.
Um, Working off your quick passing thoughts instead. This variant means the chair is now a magic item, but isn't affected by dispel magic in accordance with the spell's description,
Okay,
player's handbook.
so it was a magic item before, I would say. Um, and it's just becoming more of a magic item. And again, I would say dispel magic.
Yeah. Oh, it was a quasi magic item
Right, but
before,
now it's a
and
solid
now it
magic item.
is a magic item.
Even so, I wouldn't even say it was quasi. I would say it was just a magic item, like in its own
Oh no,
way.
I was just memeing.
No, I know, absolutely. We're using quasi a lot today, which is fun. But yeah, I mean, and if you have an issue with it being a dwarven rune, you can just flavor it as whatever rune you want. Um,
Oh yeah, of course.
but other than that, I would just say, like, again, dispel magic plus something being a magic item doesn't necessarily mean it doesn't work. It could just suppress it. Um, we've gone over
Mhm.
this before with dispel magic.
Yes. It depends on how you choose to implement dispel magic and its
Yes,
effects in your game.
exactly. So, and like, if you don't want to be a dick, then just don't have it affect the chair. So it's technically a magic
I
item, but isn't affected. But I would.
I mean,
I mean, it's not dickish, really. It's just one of those things of like. So, I. I mean, it could be, I guess, if they were hovering down stairs to get to an enemy, right? But I don't know, man. It's one
mhm.
of those things where even if so, say that here's something actually. If they use this,
Okay, you're on the third of your run-on sentences. I like it.
I apologize. Yes, let me get to this point then. If you use your hover and somebody casts grease under you,
Mhm.
you just aren't affected.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah, caltrops. That's right. I forgot about that.
Yep,
Yeah.
stuff like that. And so what I would say, I was going to make the point of before when you use dispel magic and like temporarily stop it, then it would be like somebody casting grease under somebody else to try to knock you over. But then I thought, wait a minute, grease doesn't work on it because you can just go tap tap. I'm hovering. So there's a
Mhm.
little bit of an issue
One
there.
one could, however, make the case for
Hmm.
things like caltrops and ball bearings, however, that caltrops are reliant upon people not wanting to inflict pain upon themselves when they step on the caltrop,
Hmm.
and ball bearings are reliant upon someone slipping on it.
Hmm.
A unfeeling wheelchair is not subject to either of these.
There's also that. It, but again, it's one of these like now I'm thinking also crossing a river. You just
Mhm.
why does does it stop working? It doesn't say it's
Because I assume, given that it says it always hovers 2 feet over the ostensibly solid ground,
yeah
I would assume it would not work over a ravine or a river.
yeah.
Uh,
I guess just like a line in there would help because it doesn't necessarily state that it can't. Because I could make the argument that there is solid. Oh well, it depends on the shallowness or so of the river.
I, for a second, I thought you were going to argue that a river counted as solid material, and I'm like,
No,
no, it's objectively
no.
liquid.
It is definitely liquid. Absolutely. No, it's one of those things where if the river itself is a foot, right? Then I
in
in that case you would
Yeah,
just go through it, I guess.
yeah, in which case, literally anyone could go through it.
Yeah. Okay. So that's fine. But other than that,
the
yeah.
the the issue could only ever arise if you're fording through like an area where the depth is like 3 feet.
Yeah, for something like a water or something like that, yes. Um
Mhm.
But again, for grease and for caltrops and for all that kind of stuff, that stuff just doesn't affect you.
Or for fire.
Or for fire, yeah. It just, I mean, fire hot, I guess, but
Fire hot and wheelchair made of wood, perhaps.
yeah, we could. But again, magical items, so maybe it
So
doesn't get
inherently
affected.
resistant.
Yeah, because that's the thing, right? Magic items don't usually burn when they get hit by a fireball, usually. So,
Hmm.
we're in a weird spot
Again,
now.
yeah, we have now hit fucky territory.
Well, we've been there a little bit. We've been waiting
It,
on the
or
edge of it.
I would actually describe it more as a fucky tributary.
I would too.
Um, whereas like there are parts where it's like, this is fucky, and then an island with a jungle of, yeah, of course, this
Yeah,
is fine,
yeah,
and
exactly.
then back to fording through the fucky river,
Yeah, so
and the
yeah, we're definitely there's some issues here that I see that could be used, I guess, in this case.
yeah,
But
in the issue,
it's not the issue of the stone itself and what it does. It's just, well, it is what it does, but it's not like just because it goes up and downstairs, right? That's not the issue. It's
I
the issue of the
I
utilization of the stone.
I personally would have made the stones instead, say it magically has maybe like better grip or
Yeah,
something
like
on
something like, yeah,
stairs.
it can go up them.
Yeah,
It just can. Like it doesn't need to
and
float. It can just
yeah,
go.
and because the wheelchair, of course, has a suspension system,
Yeah.
then like the of the stairs don't like throw off your aim while using a bow or a gun or something.
Yeah, exactly. So,
Yeah, yeah, ways that this could have been tweaked.
yeah. Let's move on to
Uh,
actions.
yes, actions. And here's where we get to my actual tweak.
Hmm.
Um, the combat wheelchair can be used as a weapon that can make melee weapon attacks. Sure, fucking hit someone with it.
Yeah.
At lower levels, you may wish to use one of these attacks instead of a standard weapon attack. At higher levels, you may want to use the chair as in this way for your extra attack. You are considered as being proficient in using the wheelchair as a weapon. Of course,
Mhm.
you spend ostensibly a fair amount of your day in it.
Mhm.
Um, when in combat, the chair can still be moved around one-handed by using the beacon stone. Additionally, a hand holding a one-handed or versatile weapon can still move the chair using either the push rims or the beacon stone. Um, yeah, yeah.
So the one thing that I'm seeing now that I'm looking at it again is um you can use it as an extra attack. Uh where is, hold on. So my question would be, can you not use it as your secondary attack, like a two-handed sorry, two-weapon fighting?
I would
Could,
assume you could.
so then, okay, so then you always have two attacks if you want. Okay, interesting.
Maybe. I don't know.
So there's
There's
nothing
nothing
that
mentioned one
denies
way or the
it,
other.
which is the thing, right? So I would say, yeah, you could. Um and I don't know how good the chair is, right? Like this is the
Yeah.
thing. If you use it once as a main attack, can you use it again as an optional attack for your two weapon?
I would assume you cannot use the chair twice for two weapon fighting.
Maybe.
You
I
you
guess.
can't use one wheel then the other.
Why? The thing that I would say then is that we need to put in that this chair has it doesn't have it has the things that every weapon has, in the sense of versatile, which is there, but it's not like, it's just saying that you can do that. But have it does not count for a light melee weapon, or whatever is the equivalent for two weapon fighting, because I don't remember it exactly. I think it
I
is.
would I would not describe this thing as light.
Yeah, so I don't know. The
Um,
thing is, like, you can either control it with your mind or with the stone. You're not really swinging it. You just kind of do it, right?
Yeah, but it still requires it to move at a certain speed.
Fair, fair. Okay. I don't know.
Um, but let's get into the
Yes,
attacks.
sorry.
Tire strike. By pivoting on one wheel and turning into your momentum, you can strike a creature in you can strike a target creature in range with one of the chair's wheels.
Mhm,
Melee weapon attack. Your strength slash dexterity modifier plus proficiency to hit.
mhm,
Reach 5 feet, one target. Hit 1d6 plus your strength slash dexterity modifier. Bludgeoning damage.
mhm.
I have no issue with this. It's equivalent to a short sword.
Exactly, it's fine.
Yeah. Ram, my personal favorite. By moving 10 feet in a straight line towards a small or medium creature, you can bodily slam the chair into the target creature.
Mhm, mhm,
Melee weapon attack, your strength dex modifier plus proficiency, reach 5 feet, hit 1d6 plus strength modifier, bludgeoning damage. If this attack is made using the optional feature Swift, which we'll get into shortly,
right.
that was the thing that allowed me to be okay with the 25
Okay,
feet thing. The chair deals an additional 4 bludgeoning damage to the target creature on a successful hit.
sure.
The target creature must succeed on a DC 14 strength save or be pushed back 5 feet from you.
It's
Um,
a lot of stuff you
I
can get.
It is a lot of stuff, but it makes sense.
It does, which is why I wish a lot of this combat stuff that they had from 3.5 carried over to 5e because, like, charging,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
And all that.
Mhm.
And so, yeah, it's
Yeah.
relegated. It's unfortunately behind class walls and not just there,
Mhm.
unfortunately.
This is I'm honestly surprised of all the people I've seen reeing into the abyss that
Mm
they've not mentioned Ram. Because honestly, 1d6 plus your strength or dex
hmm.
makes it a better short sword. Plus 4 with CC.
Right, yeah, it is true.
Like that is a good
Yeah,
attack.
that's kind of my issue. Well, it is only towards a smaller medium creature as well.
Which 90% of what you'll be facing in early levels, where that 1d6 plus 4 makes an
That
actual
is true.
difference.
That is true. Yeah, so I mean with everything that you get, I would say perhaps take away, like, if I had to change it to be less powerful, just take away the pushing.
Yeah, in
That's
which
it.
case
You're
it's
putting yourself
pretty.
in danger, like you're getting good damage, but if you don't roll high enough, you might not, kill the thing or all that kind of stuff.
Or even make it an opposed strength saving throw or take away the possibility for dex damage
Hmm.
because you're like barreling forward.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, need some work.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's my opinion of it as well. Just it needs some tweaking.
yeah. Crush. If the target creature is
Hmm.
prone on the ground, you can choose to roll your chair over them, dealing damage.
Hmm.
The creature must be small or medium.
Yeah,
Melee weapon attack, your strength dex modifier plus proficiency with advantage, of course,
of
because they're
course.
prone, to hit, reach 5 feet, one target. Hit 1d8 plus your strength dex modifier, bludgeoning damage. If this attack is made using the optional feature Swift, the chair deals an additional 4 damage to the target creature on a successful hit. Um,
Hmm.
Now, what I did was I sort of mushed Ram and Crush together,
Hmm.
um, and had it be because the problem that I have with Crush initially
Hmm.
is that is something an abled adventurer just cannot do.
Yeah,
It,
exactly.
like, if someone is prone, you can hit them with your sword, but you can't do and you can't stomp on them.
Right. Yeah, that would be an unarmed strike, which is just your strength mod plus one to
Yeah,
damage.
and that's the thing where like that is straight up something an adventurer cannot do.
Cannot
It
do.
make
Yeah.
it makes sense.
Yeah,
Uh,
it
I
does, but
so what I would do
mhm.
is I chose to mush Ram and Crush into the same type of attack
Sure.
and made Crush just like a subset of Ram if they are already prone. And I made it so that you can you do the ram attack,
Mhm.
and then because like they're getting up and you are flattening them back into the ground again, as you can continue moving and you don't provoke attack of opportunity.
Sure. I would say that we could take that strength DC and make it so that crush is applied if they fail it, right?
Yeah, yeah.
That would make it
Um,
make more sense. But again, this
th-
becomes a super uber attack, right?
there, there is also the problem that Crush does a D8 plus
Yeah.
stuff, which we're now into longsword territory.
Yeah, exactly. It's I would say like it makes sense because it's heavy and it's on you, and plus the weight of the person, I guess.
Yeah, but so's a person in plate mail.
Yeah, exactly. So like this, I don't know, Crush. I feel like I feel like Crush is just one of those things where it should just like like you said, like make it go into RAM, like mush the two together. Don't don't have it be a separate attack. And that way you can mitigate the whole wheelchair users can do this but other people can't because that's not what the
Eh,
thing that you have as your message here
yeah.
is that anybody can do anything and you don't want it to be better. Like,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, with Ram and Crush as they currently are, unfortunately, they have a point
Yeah.
because a regular adventurer cannot do Crush.
Yeah, exactly. So like and if somebody were to make the argument of regular adventurers can do way more, quote unquote, right? Then I would say if you put a regular adventurer in this, they just buy it, they just use it.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
they do
I
all
was
of that.
actually thinking,
Yeah, they do all of that plus this, and they're still better
yeah,
than the regular adventurer. Like,
mhm,
who doesn't have it? So why not have
yeah.
everybody kitted out with it?
Why not literally have 4 people, like, call your group the Hot Wheels,
Yeah.
and, like, we're just a bunch of adventurers in, like, kick-ass chairs.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, give me just a second here.
Mhm.
Anyway,
Um, so yeah, I love the idea of the wheelchair having attacks of its own because it is ultimately kind of like a weapon system of its own,
yes.
and I love that. I just these attacks need tweaking.
Yes, agreed.
I also don't like the idea of using a dex modifier to roll over someone. Like,
Well,
in what way
so
does having good hand-eye coordination help you do more
it's
damage?
it's the same thing. I don't know. It's like the versatility thing, right? Like just like I can understand it for a blade where you can go for better like use of swordplay to get under somebody's armor and such, do
Mhm.
stuff to actually make it so your dexterity is what's happening. With this it doesn't make as much
Yeah,
sense, but I
yeah,
understand why
you're
it's there.
slamming your weight into them.
Yeah, I understand why it's there, just to continue to be able to be used by anybody. um
Yeah,
but it
and,
doesn't
like,
make sense, I agree.
the case could be made like, "Oh, man, I'm aiming one of the tires for his neck," or
Hmm.
something. But then the case could be made for an able-bodied adventurer who wants to jump on someone like, "Yeah, no, I'm specifically aiming both heels for this guy's throat."
Yeah, it's again it kind of this is definitely bringing out the issues with the 5e combat system,
Mhm.
because there are definite issues with it,
Yeah.
that it's
Like
bringing to
like
light.
yeah, and, like, the attacks themselves are cool,
Yeah,
but they are, of course, kind of kneecapped by the fact that the 5e combat system is not great.
exactly. So it's just an unfortunate circumstance for the
Mhm.
edition that it's in,
Yeah,
the edition
3
that
point
will
three point
welcome it.
five, something like this would fit right in.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah,
Or
totally.
Pathfinder 2e.
Yeah, Pathfinder 2e as well. Yeah, absolutely. Either one.
Um,
How
how
tough?
tough is the
How
chair?
tough is the chair?
I've felt you, like, asking this, like, mentally of
Yeah,
me, Alejo,
I've been wondering.
and I've gotta let you know, and you will be relieved to know that if you've ever seen a game of wheelchair basketball or rugby,
I haven't.
you will understand, well, I guess you don't understand, but you will understand,
Okay.
goddammit,
Okay.
that the chairs used are very durable and can withstand the impact of tackling at high speeds. The combat wheelchair okay, yeah, I didn't like this section. The combat wheelchair doesn't have hit points, the same way our sword or shield doesn't.
Mm.
However, and just let me get to the end of this section
Yeah, go for it.
before, mm, mm,
Mhm.
however, it can withstand 3 consecutive critical hits inflicted by either melee weapons or melee spells before it needs repairing with either the Tinker's tools or Smith's tools, which have not been mentioned yet.
Yeah,
This
Smith's
thing, by the
tools.
way. Um, yeah, you can also pay for the chair to be repaired at a cost of 100 gold. Would not make it nearly that much, but hey. Um, Once repaired, the chair is as good as new. Whilst the chair needs to be repaired, you can still use it for everyday tasks, such as mobility and ascending or descending stairs, and any upgrades you have acquired remain in effect. Only critical hits damage the chair, normal attack damage does not. The chair must take 3 times the amount of critical hits it can withstand before it can be repaired consecutively in order for it and any upgrades it has to be rendered completely broken and unusable.
Oh, okay.
Which means once you hit 3, you can't use it for, like, attacks. Once you hit 9,
Yeah, yeah.
it's junk.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Okay.
if this happens, you can either pay for a new base chair at 200 gold,
Mhm.
or pay upwards of 500 gold or more, depending upon the price of the upgrades you had,
Sure.
to have it completely rebuilt and kitted out with the upgrades your old chair had.
Sure.
Um, so when I saw this,
Uh-huh.
I ranted to myself for about an hour and a half in my
Oh.
room.
Okay.
Uh,
Tell me the
and
the
that
fruits of your labor.
well, it was, unfortunately euthanized due to however, the rulings of critical hits and how they affect the chair are completely optional, and you don't have to use them in your game in order to have a fun experience.
Oh.
So,
So why include them, I wonder?
well, I'm fine with them being included.
I
The
yeah, it
issue I have is in most homebrew
Mhm.
and in, like, item descriptions in the game,
Mhm.
if you're going to have something optional,
Yeah.
you have you have, like, that whole 3 paragraphs you wrote
Yeah.
be at the end of the item description.
Yeah, definitely.
Only the core stuff is mentioned in the item or the homebrew
Yes.
before any optional rules
I
are
agree.
mentioned.
I agree.
And the fact that I thought that these were core and that you had to have an enemy roll 3 nat 20s on you,
Yeah.
when
Oh,
statistically it's combat. Oh, can you
you're
hear me?
yeah, I can hear you now, I think. Hello?
Oh, I'm here.
You're like lagging behind a little bit.
Give me 1 second.
Yeah. Oh, no. I changed control. Changed so that I call and oh,
Hello?
hello.
Is this working?
It's working.
Okay, excellent.
Fantastic.
Um, so the fact that there were 3 paragraphs that I assumed were critical and core to it
Yes.
led me on that hour and a half rant
Mhm.
to my and then when I see, "Oh, by the way, like, it's optional, so you don't have to have 60 rounds of combat for it to be statistically likely to get even the first bad result,"
Mhm.
um, was very frustrating.
Yeah,
Um,
that's fair.
3 crits, and I would assume you can use Tinker's tools or Smith's tools or mending to mend repairs after even 1 crit hit if you
Yeah,
have
exactly.
if you have a short or a long rest, so, like, I don't like this because also, items in D&D do have hit points. A
Yes.
cart, for instance, a heavy cart has 27 hit points on
Yep.
average. I know this because my players went cart shopping for a session.
There you go.
Uh, and I would personally make the combat wheelchair have an AC of 14 and an HP of like 15.
Okay.
Cut a cart in half, basically.
So,
And we're assuming that this thing is fucking rugged and built, right?
right,
And heavy carts are rugged and built.
right.
So I would assume that given that this thing has less or technically speaking, they have 4 or 5 wheels, but those wheels are stabilizing wheels instead of the big wheels on the side.
Mhm.
Um, I
I
would say that having it be like 13 or 15 hit points is fair.
I would say the only issue arises is that we then differentiate the chair with the person, right? Because it's already been
Yeah.
said that it's basically just a part of you. So if they can't target the chair itself because of like something like Shield of Faith, right?
Mhm.
How is it? I it's very strange to then go you get a crit on your person which does damage to you but also to your chair. So I guess yes, it is intrinsically tied to your chair, but it also doesn't have hit points. So,
I think it's for if someone wants to make a called shot.
but that doesn't exist.
Nah.
It doesn't. It like I know we all use it, but it doesn't exist for raw rules. Um, the
Beastman.
yeah, Raru. But yeah, it's I just it's like I can
Yeah, yeah.
understand if you have something environmental happen that does some like rusting to your chair or something because of like a rust monster got near you a little bit, or something like. But it's
Mhm.
not even that much metal. I don't know. It's one of those things where now I'm thinking about the chair more so, and I'm like, uh, okay, so do I have to worry about this or not? And then it is an optional rule, so then I go, so I don't have to worry about this and I shouldn't worry about this.
I will say personally, if
Hmm.
I were a brigand captain
Okay.
and I had a big fucking sword
Yeah.
and someone walks up to me or rolls up to me in
Yeah.
a wheelchair, fucking dude, that one of those wheels are coming off
Oh,
if my sword has
absolutely.
anything to say about it. I would
Absolutely.
absolutely attack the wheelchair.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? So it's it's just weird because again, like you said, things do have hit points. Items do have hit points, and
Yeah.
it used to be
A flask has 5 hit points.
yeah, it used to be like you had the toughness of an item and then the hit
Mhm.
points, right? That you had to beat.
The hardness.
Yes, hardness, sorry. You had to beat the hardness in order to do damage to the actual weapon. Um,
That does
or whatever.
exist in 5e,
Oh,
with some items,
oh,
such as castle walls,
okay.
um, because they have, like, more I
Ballista
forget what
stuff.
they call it, it's more or less toughness
Right,
or
right.
hardness, whereas any damage that you do that does not, um, that is, like, underneath that threshold is not counted and is considered superficial damage.
Yeah, exactly. So,
But
yeah,
but even those have beatable DCs, whereas this is like, no, you have to nat 20.
yeah, exactly. Like it's just it doesn't feel right. I like I don't have more to really say than that because it makes my brain go this. I don't like it. I don't think this is the
Mhm.
way it should be. Um,
Yeah.
and
Um,
like even with
Again,
the
this part is optional. Um,
absolutely,
and this is one of those things that I would absolutely throw out as a DM, and I am so glad that they mentioned this part's optional. Like, if you don't
yeah,
like it, fucking throw it out.
yeah, exactly. Like put that in the beginning though. Like
Mhm,
that's the
mhm.
only thing really.
Yeah, or put the whole section at the end.
Yep.
But yeah. Additionally, the mending cantrip can be used to fix any breaks in the chair.
Mm,
that are cleanly done. Mending is more powerful than that. Don't sell yourself short.
yeah.
And specified as being in two parts. That is what mending does, so that
Yes.
that makes sense.
Hmm.
For example, if the camber bar breaks after the chair reaches its critical hit limit and upon inspection is revealed to onky be broken in two,
Oof.
you or an ally can cast mending to repair it instantly.
So yeah, uh, very specific. All right.
Um, yeah, so again, editing.
Yeah, that, but also, yeah. Again, it's just one of
Um,
those things of like the system that you have in place. I'm not a fan of it. The optional system
I'm
that I do not need to use.
yeah, but we're past that.
I know.
Having the chair be invulnerable is laughable. Of
Yeah.
course, it can do damage.
Yeah. Exactly.
Um, so that's why I would make it have the AC and hit points.
Yeah. Something. It needs to. It
Yeah,
just. I
find something that works for your game is what
exactly.
I say.
Usually what we
Um,
say. Yeah.
yeah, and and it is actually this paragraph that initially inspired me with yeah, fuck it. If you're a magic user, you get mending
Oh yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Makes sense.
because yeah, you should absolutely
The
be able to mend your
I
wheelchair
was gonna
like in
say,
between combat.
yeah, like any person who is dependent on something, you learn how to keep that thing being able to be
Mhm.
used.
I break headphones like constantly, but people with glasses that I know keep those glasses for years.
Yeah, exactly. I have been trying to not sit on these.
Well, I mean, you do need to sit on on a wheelchair if you have it, Alejo.
Well, you know.
But yeah,
Anyway,
no, like absolutely. If you're a magic user, like take mending, dude. It's
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Um, falling damage still occurs as standard because, of course, it does.
Hmm.
Dealing damage to the chair's user. However, if you're using the optional critical hits ruling, meh, the chair needs one repair per every 60 feet the chair falls.
Okay.
If I
Uh-huh.
were using the critical hits ruling, which I never would, I would
No.
lower that to 20, but
Yeah,
hey.
I was actually thinking 20. I was like, yeah, if I throw a chair that's wooden primarily, 20 feet down.
Yeah. Um, like they're rugged. I can see it going 10. I'm
Yeah,
willing to give I'm willing to meet them in the middle and give them 10.
absolutely.
60 is a bit extreme.
60, like,
Hey, by the way, a fall that would kill a human being,
yeah.
yeah, it only gets this thing a bit
Yeah,
scuffed
if a commoner falls, 60
in the
feet.
woods and no one hears it.
Yeah, exactly. If a commoner falls off a cliff and no one's around to witness it, did he really splatter on the ground?
Yeah,
Um,
do I really have a bounty?
yeah, yes, exactly. No, but it's again, yeah, ridiculous. 60
Yeah,
feet? Oh my
yeah.
god.
60.
60 is so much.
Mm.
Anyway,
Optional features.
okay.
This is the point that I really like this section.
Okay.
The combat wheelchair has 4 optional features available to you. You can choose whether or not to include them in your game.
Hmm.
Hey, look at that! Something the last paragraph could have used.
Yeah.
Swift, and my personal favorite. When moving downhill, you can choose to let gravity make you roll faster,
Yes.
moving up to 2 times the chair's base movement speed.
Okay.
That means instead of 25 movement, you have 50 feet movement speed going downhill,
Hmm.
unless you choose to keep a tight control of the chair using either the push rims or the beacon stone. If you choose to retain control, the chair's movement speed stays at its base of 25 feet.
Hmm.
If you decide to roll faster, you must bear in mind that you can't come to an abrupt halt. Instead, you must use your hands or the emergency brakes on your rear 2 wheels to slow down. Emergency brake. When the chair is moving at a high speed using the swift feature, you put a great risk to yourself if you try to use your hands on the wheels to stop suddenly.
Hmm.
When this happens, you can use the emergency brakes located on either side. I'm doing the
The
airline
airline thing.
attendant thing. On either side of your seat pan by the rear wheels. Using the brakes is an action and slows the chair down by 10 feet per round. Mwah. Perfect.
Yeah,
I
I'm into
love
it.
it.
That's super
I
cool.
it's so good.
Yeah,
Like, of
that
course.
makes total sense to me.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You would
Mhm,
include the emergency brakes with the Swift, obviously, because otherwise
mhm.
you would be like
Yeah,
somebody
why
would
would
go. Yeah, no.
yeah, no, makes total sense.
Yep.
I'm about it.
All right. Next.
Um, it's good.
No,
I love it.
It is. It is very good.
Stable. Due to the chair's fifth wheel acting as a staple you'll find on many wheelchairs, I did not know this. You have advantage on saving throws versus yeah, you have advantage on saving throws versus being knocked prone whilst you were in the chair. If
Hmm.
the chair does get knocked prone, you are not thrown out of it so long as you are wearing the seat belts. You can release these belts at any time during a bonus action to press the buttons on the clasps.
Again.
Whilst you are in the chair and the chair is prone, you are also considered prone, of course,
Yep.
because you are part of the chair and
You
the
are
chair
the
is a part
chair.
of you, as
Yes.
has been established.
Mm-hmm.
You are a cyborg.
Mm-hmm.
You have been built better. Um, where is I? You must use your own half movement speed to get up if you are thrown out of the chair. If you are still in the chair when it is prone, you must use the chair's half movement to push you and it back up unaided. This is reduced to 0 movement if you are assisted by an ally. This is no different to an abled character being knocked prone and spending half their movement getting back up. I spent a while going through the math on this, and it does add up.
Okay. Wait. Okay. Okay. Uh, yeah. Okay. All
S-
right. I,
Um,
yeah.
so I'm personally not a huge fan of having
Advantage.
advantage on saving throws versus being
Yeah.
knocked prone, but A, you are constantly at all times you're at 25 base movement speed
Yeah.
versus the occasional payoff of having advantage versus being knocked prone.
I mean,
S- Secondly,
so dwarves are
it
also
makes
always at 25 movement speed.
I just think that if you're lower to the ground with a lower center of gravity and multiple wheels keeping you in check, it makes sense.
Yeah,
Um,
but I would also then say dwarves also.
yeah, and
And
gnomes, I think.
gnomes and halfling. Well, halflings get 30. But still, even so, they're still loaded to the ground. They're not as stocky, I guess, but.
Yeah.
Mm,
So I this is something I probably would not use.
yeah, I was gonna say this is definitely one of the ones of like,
Yeah.
no.
This is one of those things where you do have an advantage, and it was actually when I was reading this paragraph that I had my idea of, like, fucking Power Rangers in wheelchairs.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. No, it's definitely when it just says you get advantage to being knocked prone. I'm like immediately my brain goes, so I have a
mhm,
better chance of not being knocked prone when I'm in this thing.
mhm. Oh, dude, if you have a problem with stable, just you fucking wait till we get to one of the
I'm
upgrades.
excited.
Mm.
Tuning.
Tuning. When you attune to magical items, the effect of the magical item is shared between you and the combat wheelchair when you are in the chair.
Mhm.
For example, boots of flying, in accordance with the Dungeon Master's Guide, aren't designed with disabled adventurers in mind. Some disabled folks have mobility issues where they can't support their own weight standing unaided and will require the combat wheelchair. Using this feature, when you attune to a magical item and are using the chair, both you and the chair share the item's benefit and any effects it may have. When you get out of the chair, only you retain the benefit of the
Excuse me.
item. I'm a bit cautious about this one
Mm,
because the wording of it seems to invite fuckery.
mm.
Like I would
Trying
be
to think
like
about it.
some of my all right, some of my players are fuckers, right?
Sure.
And I I could see them saying something like oh, it's like a cursed sword that whispers to you, but it's only gonna whisper to the chair and not to me, or stupid
I
shit
mean,
like that.
I don't know. It's very
Like, this I get what they're saying, like, yes, you can use whatever magic items you have, whether you are in the chair or not.
yeah, that
I
yeah.
I would not have made this an optional feature. I would have put this up earlier, like, right under the druid transformations.
Yeah.
Because, like, dude, if someone had boots of flying, I wouldn't begrudge them the use of it because they're
Yeah,
in a
exactly.
wheelchair. That's petty as fuck.
Yeah,
Like,
like if
let them
if
fly, god
like
damn it.
you give me a ring of water walk and then I can just wheel across it. Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
That's fine. Like that makes total sense. So, yeah, I feel like this isn't you're right. This
Mhm.
isn't an optional
I
thing, but it does lead to some questions.
yeah, just I would say that this could be shortened and reworded more elegantly to invite less fuckery upon itself.
Yeah, definitely.
Um, but yeah, I would say that this should be based. I don't understand why this has to be an optional feature.
Yes.
Again, this is one of the things that I considered as a buff that it could use
Oh yeah,
and be fine.
definitely.
Mounted combat. For characters that are looking to specialize in mounted combat, the combat wheelchair can be considered as your mount. In
Hmm.
addition to this, you can choose to attach your polearm lance or halberd to the chair's armrest,
That's
your
cool.
choice which one, at no extra financial cost. This addition is something either you or your party can do. I love it.
Yeah, that's cool.
Um, it's not entirely realistic because the whole point of mounted combat is that things up high are hard to hit.
Yes.
Um, but as someone who, has sparred with, someone I know who was very short,
Mhm.
fighting someone shorter than you sucks
Yeah,
ass.
that makes sense. Yeah.
Like, every punch you mean to do turns into a jab,
Yep.
and it sucks.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
The extra arm reach is nice, but like having to aim punches down or kicks low in order to be at center mass like will throw you off.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah,
So
I don't have too much wrong with this. I would have to look
yeah.
into mounted combat a little bit more again, but
Mhm.
overall I think this is fine.
Um and this is one of the things that specifically when we were talking about the dwarven runes earlier,
Yep.
dude, I'd be all right with people putting glyphs of warding on like back panels of the wheelchair and then like pulling a ripcord and rocketing forward with a lance.
That would be neat. Yeah.
Dude, it'd be so cool. I
That
would
would be great.
I'd love to see it.
Yeah, if you could I miss permanency, dude. Permanency was cool.
Mm.
You could just
Well,
like
even
permanency
even
things.
even technically glyph of warding, raw does not work if the glyph moves outside 10 feet of
Yeah,
its
I know. Yeah.
of what it's described. And that's something I just threw out of my campaign
Yeah,
because
yeah.
like that's
Why not? Yeah.
stupid.
Yeah, it's
It's a
fun.
rune.
Anyway.
Um Starting out with a chair. The standard combat wheelchair, as it has been described to you thus far, costs 200 gold pieces, which is more expensive than a simple wheelchair, typically 5 gold pieces.
Oh, okay. Yep.
I love the fact that you gave me this info. Thank you. This is because the combat wheelchair is designed specially for use on the battlefield and during adventures, and has been built with durable materials.
Mhm.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
But what about if you're a character who is beginning their adventure and is disabled from the get go? Perhaps you were born with your disability or illness, or maybe part of your backstory includes an accident or injury that predates your career as an adventurer. If this is your case, speak with your DM
Mhm.
and consider having the combat wheelchair be part of your items without having to pay for it. Perhaps you paid for one already as part of your backstory. Perhaps you would like to forego having skills you acquired as part of your background and take the wheelchair instead.
Mhm. Yeah.
Again, quasi background.
Yeah, it is quasi.
Um, the choice is yours at the end of the day. If you happen to take a lasting injury or otherwise become disabled whilst on your travels, you can buy a combat wheelchair at any time for 200 gold pieces from any good merchant. Remember, the combat wheelchair does not give a disabled character an advantage, except for where it does,
Yeah.
over the able over the abled characters. Ooh, getting edgy. Um, all it does is enable disabled characters to do things an abled adventurer can. You should not be punished for something you cannot help, and to be punished for having a disability is cruel. Anyone can be a hero.
Good
Um,
message. Sure.
hell yeah.
Yeah.
I do have an issue with the starting out with the chair. Um, firstly, um, 200 gold pieces from any good merchant. I would reword that as like from a merchant specifically dealing with this.
I would say a magic
Bec
item merchant.
yeah,
Like,
because
it's specialized, it's all this thing. Like,
dude, any good merchant is like, "Yeah, dude, if you're a leather worker and you're worth your salt, how fucking dare you not have a combat wheelchair?"
well,
Like,
yeah,
towns are gonna be flooded with an excess of combat wheelchairs because
yes.
any half decent merchant has one, I guess.
That's the thing. This then puts all other merchants in a bad light because if you don't carry one, then you're a bad merchant.
Yeah,
Right? You're
and
immediately then saying
I don't
if
know about you, but 7-Eleven doesn't sell wheelchairs.
yeah, it's like it's a bad wording case. Like I understand what they're trying to say, but again, this puts like if I go to random Joe who is a merchant who is traveling and he doesn't have a parade of wheelchairs behind him as he's walking, like that are tied to his back, like then apparently he's just bad. It's like no, that's not what you mean. So don't
Yeah,
use good as your qualifier here, your descriptor. Very bad
yeah,
use of it.
so I would say a specialized merchant,
Yes, yeah, that would be
um,
better.
because, like, dude, if you're taking out a dragon at a dragon's lair and you happen to become disabled, whether through, like, injury or, like, a permanent injury that you now have,
Yeah.
getting back to town's gonna suck, and
Yep.
I, as a DM, will not mind making it suck.
Yeah, I mean it's
Bec
adversity.
because it yeah, because it is something that has happened during your adventure,
Mhm.
and getting back to town would suck.
Yeah, absolutely. I
The whole point of having a wheelchair is that it makes life not suck.
Yes, exactly. And again, like this so there's a difference for being punished for a disability and being punished the use of punished is something I have some contention with. Just because like I understand again what it's trying to say of like nobody should just look down at you because you need this, right?
Mhm.
That's definitely the case. Absolutely. I
Yeah,
agree 100%.
and you shouldn't, have DMs go like, "Oh, what do you mean you want to play a disabled adventurer? That's stupid."
Yes.
Like, that's also super not kosher,
Yes,
but
absolutely. The only thing that I would say is just like if you want to play this, you have to then be okay with the fact that you're going to be challenged.
yeah.
Um physically, mentally, all this kind of stuff just because you are choosing this kind of thing where if you somehow lose that chair, like you're gonna be at a disadvantage regardless. It's
Mhm.
not somebody punishing you, it's just the fact of the matter, right?
Yeah. It is you wanted to add this to your character for flavor because
Mhm.
ultimately that's what this is. You are choosing to go above and beyond what is raw in order to make a character that you find more appealing or that you can identify with more. That is
Absolutely.
ultimately flavor.
Yep.
Um, I'm playing a paladin that is basically a necromancer. All of his spells have been reskinned to be spooky scary.
Mhm.
um, it is because, I think that the idea of a paladin who is a jailer for souls,
Mhm.
um, and is obsessed with making them pure is more cool and more appealing, and as such, it is flavor.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
am okay with city guards questioning my character and maybe taking my soul coins away, leaving me without spells,
Mhm.
um, because such is the nature of my flavor. Um,
Sorry, I was just looking ahead just to see how much more we had. Oh my goodness.
yeah, yeah. Upgrades should go fairly quick,
Yeah,
actually.
yeah, yeah. It should. All right.
Um, so yeah, don't fucking punish your players,
Yeah,
of
obviously.
course, but understand that,
There is a
like,
difference between
like I
punishing and
say,
dealing with
if
circumstance.
yes, if you are clearing the white dragon's lair and you get thrown up against a rock and you feel a crick in the back of your neck and now your like legs don't work, getting out of the lair unless you have friends who are up is gonna suck.
Yep.
That's not punishing you.
No. Again, dealing with circumstance.
Mhm.
There is a difference.
Um,
Please recognize
yes.
it. Anyway,
Yeah.
upgrades.
Upgrades. So far, we have been shown the basics of this wheelchair as well as a few optional rules and features. But what if you'd like to tailor your wheelchair to you? Hell yes. How
Mm-hmm.
can you go about making it suit your skill set? This is where upgrades come in. There are a variety of upgrades available to you on your journey, and they can typically be bought and affixed to your wheelchair at any blacksmiths, artificers, or forge.
Sure.
Kit kit your combat wheelchair out in a way that best suits you and what you find yourself needing whilst out adventuring in the world. Even more fun, this part of the combat wheelchair lends itself well to your own homebrews, so why not make a special upgrade of your own too?
Sure. Yeah.
Combat wheelchair can only have two upgrades on it at any one time in order to keep the chair functional enough for both adventuring and combat. You cannot stack the same upgrades on top of one another, but you can get upgrades removed to replace them with new ones.
Yeah.
I love the idea of having like a little section of the wagon that is like
The
your
body shop.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah. I love
Some
it.
upgrades cannot be used together due to either there not being enough room on the chair for both, or that
Mm-hmm.
one's upgrade effects may negate others. These have been detailed when relevant.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now we get to the worst one.
Ooh.
Agile suspension.
Okay.
An elaborate branching of suspension is fixed about the camber bar, connected to the rear wheels and the seat to create a chair that is more responsive to sharp and agile movements. Good so far. Whilst in the chair, you have advantage on dexterity saving throws and acrobatics checks. Cost
Hmm.
180 gold.
Oh, just to have it all the time?
Mhm.
Not even
So
like a
like
spell effect
so
every now and again that you can activate?
so
Mm.
so do you remember the example we made of jumping over a ravine a
Yeah.
few weeks back? Um, the the adventurer in the wheelchair can jump over a ravine or up a tree
Better.
better than the barbarian
All
can,
the time. They don't have to
all the time.
they just spent 180 gold and that's it. That's
Mhm. You
no.
can't even get an item for that
Yeah.
cheap to get the same.
No. Not okay with it. Not good.
Yeah,
Very bad.
straight up not okay.
Straight up just advantage. Just for very little.
Mm. I would be okay with making it like a flat +1 or +2 or add your
Yes.
proficiency bonus or
Yeah,
something,
something not advantage.
not
Not
advantage.
advantage at all. Oh my god.
Um, and in which case, if it's like those flat bonuses or even the scaling bonus of proficiency,
Mhm.
then I could see a cost of 180 or 300 or like 500 for
Sure.
proficiency.
Yeah.
But for fucking
No,
advantage, like
that's we're
we're
talking
talking more like a
yeah,
thousand.
we're talking more than 1,000, honestly,
Yeah,
considering this is yeah,
1,800
this is
to 3K is what I'm
since
thinking.
it's quite literally all the time. Like this is a persistent effect just from this. It's
This should
better
be
than
considered a legendary item.
exactly. Like so that stuff can go up to hundreds of thousands. Like that's
Mhm.
not something you get for 180. Oh my god. No.
Yeah,
No.
especially because like, this is one of the cheaper
Yeah.
things.
Yeah, no.
This
Anyway.
nope.
Nope.
All-terrain tires. Though the slanted wheels on the base chip provide ease of travel over coast, forest, grassland, and mountain terrains, thank you for the recap.
Mhm.
Those tires accommodate for other terrains not covered by chair's basic wheels. All terrain tires are thicker, have more grip, thicker, disperse weight more evenly, and are crossed with snow chains, allowing you
There you go.
to traverse over Arctic, desert, swamp, and underdark terrains. These tires do not permit you to travel over water
There you
terrains,
go.
which you will need to purchase either a boat or floats for.
Yep.
Cost 300 gold for a pair, 150 gold pieces each.
Yep.
totally fine.
Yep.
Weight, I would say, could go down to 4 pounds per tire, but that's just me.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, Arcane absorption. The frame of the chair has been engraved with dwarvish runes of primordial
Always
incantations that
Dwarvish. Very interesting.
it's just what the fucking WotC likes to do too.
Oh, is it? I haven't been paying
Yeah.
attention.
It's fucking whenever there's fucky magic, it's either always hags or dwarves.
Huh.
Um, that absorb elemental energy from spells only. The next time you are forced into a saving throw against a spell that deals cold, fire, or lightning damage, you have advantage on the save as the runes attempt to rebuff some of the attack. This upgrade can be used twice per long rest. Dispel magic has no effect
Okay.
on this upgrade. I'd be fine
So,
with this if you can etch it on armor as well, which according to Xanathars you can.
yeah. Oh, okay. All right. Cause like, yeah, looking at it, you get twice. I would say once maybe. Cause
Yeah.
like this is 260 gold for this kind of thing. Like
Mhm.
that's a good enchantment, dude. I would say buff that price up if you're gonna be able to use it twice. Do
Yeah.
the scale of like you get it once, twice, three times for this amount, right? Like
Mhm, mhm.
this needs an up for pricing and such because that's
Yeah.
really good, especially since it gives advantage.
Yeah. I didn't initially think of that, but you're totally right.
Mm,
I was just initially more concerned with, okay, can anyone get this? And they can.
yeah, that's fine. I would imagine and hope that that's the case, but other than that, like,
Mhm,
too little cost
mhm.
for such a good fucking thing.
Armored plates. Small but heavy metal plates are attached to the frame of the combat wheelchair to better protect it and the user's lower body.
Hmm.
This upgrade increases the wheelchair's weight from 25 pounds to 65 pounds. You gain a +2 to your AC whilst you're in the chair. It's just like buying a shield.
Yep.
When you're not in the shield, you no longer have this bonus. If this upgrade is removed, you no longer gain a +2 AC bonus whilst in the chair.
Yep.
Whilst this upgrade is affixed to your chair, you also have disadvantage on dex saving throws and acrobatics and stealth checks. Additionally, the number of critical hits, fuck that.
Yeah, yeah,
Cost
yeah.
550 GP. That needs to go down
That
to like
definitely needs to go
100.
down. Oh my goodness. That's so much to make it
That
+2?
Yeah, dude,
Yikes.
like you're
I
getting a
guess
you're getting a worse shield.
so this is
Um,
on top of your armor that you have on, remember.
yes.
So, yeah, definitely lower that price.
And you can, I believe, have a shield, so you could have a level 1 paladin in
Yeah,
a combat wheelchair have an AC of 20.
absolutely. So like, yeah, definitely fucking just lower that price just a
Mm.
bit. They're already mounting up,
At
dude.
at level 2, actually, when if they take the defense fighting style, that'd be a 21 AC at level 2.
Yeah, I mean, maybe having it so high is to prevent it from being at level 2, you
Mhm.
know? Maybe that's the case, in which case I'd be like, yeah, okay.
This, um this actually I was gonna mention, this, like, a few days ago, and I forgot about it until now.
Oh,
Agile suspension, I had a suggested rework on that.
oh, okay.
Um, Given that being in a combat wheelchair does not affect your AC,
Yep.
um, that's a little bit fucky,
Mhm.
because I don't know about you, but most wheelchairs aren't very good at side strafing.
Nope. But this one can
For
float
Can float if it gets the thing,
if you double tap.
um, if you double tap.
But it only goes
Um,
forward backward apparently. I don't know. It's very
I don't
strange. I don't know.
fucking know. I would personally, and this is just me, and feel free to call me an ableist bigot, but,
Ooh.
I would say if you're in a combat wheelchair, maybe you get denied your dex bonus to your AC, but agile suspension would the
Hmm.
cost of that would go down to, like, maybe 15 gold,
Yeah, add it back in.
and then you get your dex bonus back in. I would also make that so that you can have 3 upgrades on it at any one time, so that you basically just spend 15 gold to get the same thing as other people would, but it's very
So
accessible.
I guess my counter would be my counter would be then Well,
Or maybe half dex bonus.
this is the thing, right? Like with some classes, they get their you already get dex bonus plus like maybe uh wisdom or like constitution, like the AC is already kind of calculated strangely. And so I
Yeah,
guess,
especially if you're a monk.
yeah, I guess what you could say is like it accounts for it by being more sturdy, in the sense of if you hit it, it is also armor in a way. So it would make up for the being at half or without your dex bonus.
Yeah.
I don't.
I don't
I'm
know.
trying to rationalize it to just like allow it to stay as is, because like I think it's fine.
Like I don't really want to give someone
Right.
a minus to their AC
Yeah.
for um for having a disability.
Because it would. Yeah.
Uh
It would objectively make it worse if you never took it.
mhm. But at the same time it
So this is the thing. Why
it
not just have it be inherent in that case, so that you don't have to worry about this, right? Like
yeah,
have it
okay, so
already
just
have agile suspension.
remove agile suspension totally
Yes. Just
and
make it be
then have
inherent.
them retain dex bonus.
Yeah.
In which case we're just back to square one where agile suspension is stupid and fuck it.
Exactly. Yeah. So I think that's honestly the
Mhm.
best case.
And then in which case if someone says, why are you able to have like the same dex bonus as I do? Say they're specifically designed to respond quickly.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay. So next one, yeah,
Float.
armored plates cannot be used with the upgrade, agile suspension, or suppression tires. Ah,
Right.
suppression tires are cool. Floats. A compact folded up device is placed under the chair, attached to the frame, which can be activated by pressing a switch that has been attached to the side of the armrests.
Mm-hmm.
Your choice which one. It takes an action to activate. This one I'm fine with.
Mm-hmm.
Once triggered, the device expands out into an inflatable raft that can support both the weight of the wheelchair and the person in it only. The
Sure.
raft can be controlled whilst it's in the water by using either an oar or the beacon stone already in the armrest of the chair.
Sure.
Makes
Yeah.
sense? When you are finished with the raft, simply press the activation switch again, another action, and it will retract back under the chair. The raft uses the same stats and speed as a rowboat, Ghosts of Saltmarsh.
Sure.
Cost 50 GP, same as a rowboat.
Sure.
Weight 10 pounds, lighter than a rowboat because it is an inflatable material.
Mm-hmm.
Makes perfect
Yep.
sense.
I'm
Uh,
all for it.
Floats cannot be used with the upgrade Spider Legs.
Okay. Yeah.
Mounted sniper. A crossbow or pistol has been mounted on one of the armrests,
There you
your
go.
choice of which one, and a quiver of bolts or bullets fixed down by the seat for ease of access when reloading.
Mm-hmm.
When you first have this upgrade affixed, 20 bolts or 20 bullets are given to you for ammunition. Makes sense. I
Mm-hmm.
would probably upgrade it to 30 myself.
I mean, 20 is the
Um,
standard for every armament.
yeah, I use 30 for everything.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
Yeah, it's literally just me, but
Yep.
the crossbow that has been affixed can be heavy or light depending on your proficiency and functions as a crossbow usually does within combat. Player's Handbook. If you choose to mount a pistol, it functions as it usually does within combat. The small mount that the weapon is on has a pivot so that it can still be aimed at targets. Cost 25 GP light crossbow, 50 gold pieces heavy crossbow, 250 gold pieces pistol. Weight 5 pounds, 18 pounds, or 3 pounds. Personally, I would allow you to just do this. I don't think it needs to be an upgrade feature.
Yeah, I would also say attribute your pistol to DMG.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Um, but yeah, like
Yeah,
that
inherently, I feel like that's
we yeah, we can remove that and just assume it's like that is a thing. It
yes.
reminds me personally of one of my favorite enemies in Bloodborne,
Oh, the
which
wheelchair
the wheelchair dudes with the
with the
minigun and the
mounted
crank
minigun.
handle.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah,
Yep.
yeah, dude.
They're
I
super
I
good.
love those guys. They're
They're
the
so
best.
cool. They laugh so much. It's great.
Yeah.
They're just having a great time, just mowing you down with thousands of bullets.
Dude, I would have a great time too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Parting ram. A wedge-shaped ram that has been affixed to the front of your chair, covering your lower legs. You can use this to knock down a creature in combat. The parting ram works the same way as the ram action in combat, but the target creature must make a successful DC 15 strength save or be knocked prone.
Mm-hmm.
Whilst in the chair with this upgrade affixed, you also gain a +4 bonus on your strength check when using the parting ram to break down doors.
Yeah,
Makes
absolutely.
sense.
Yeah.
One other character can help you use a parting ram in this manner by pushing you in the chair to provide extra momentum. Makes
Yeah,
sense.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
With your permission, of course, giving you advantage on the check. By the way, for any listeners out there, I hope I don't have to mention this, but if someone's in a wheelchair, don't fucking push their wheelchair unless they ask you to.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Jeez.
God damn. Um, it's one of those things. It pisses me off.
Yeah, it doesn't need to be said, but apparently it
Oh,
does.
um,
Anyway,
giving you advantage on the check. Hell yeah. I really like the parting ram
this
actually.
upgrade also provides half cover to the chair's user as it covers the lower half of their body in much the same way a wall would. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So +2 or +5?
It's plus two.
Plus
Plus
2.
two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
+2 bonus to AC.
So
This
then,
is
so this is my thing though. Instead of armored plates, never take armored plates.
yeah. Um I would also specifically say that you can't use armored plates with parting ram because armored plates are too heavy to build up speed with the ram.
Unless you go
Um
downhill.
unless you go downhill. In which case, yes, you are literally a train.
Yeah.
But also because between armored plates and parting ram, that's a +4 to AC,
Yeah.
for a total of 560 gold, which granted, like,
Yeah.
armored plates should be less anyway.
Yeah, and
Uh,
again, like parting ram at 10 just to give you a plus 2 already, like that's straight off the bat, dude.
yeah, like, I understand a standard portable ram is 4 gold pieces, but also understand you're getting more bonuses than a portable ram
Yeah.
gives.
And it is weighs less and
Mhm.
like it's
Like like,
objectively better. Plus it
that
makes your
cost
RAM
needs
better. Like, oh my
yeah,
god.
that cost needs to go way up
Yep.
because you're getting an attack, a portable ram,
Yep.
and armor from it. Like, that
Yeah.
is worth more than 10 gold.
And then this I would even say makes the RAM for the actual action. This is what would make it so you get that DC instead of
Yeah,
having it be there initially.
actually, yeah, I'd be down for that.
That would make it feel better to me.
Um, razor edges. Fucking hell yeah.
Oh my
Uh,
god.
2 sharpened, hoop-shaped blades are mounted to jut out from the push rims either side of the rear wheels at a distance so your hands don't get cut up when
Nice.
pushing the along. These weaponized rims deal an additional 1d4 slashing damage to your tire strike attack. These blades can be silvered for an additional 100 gold pieces each.
Yeah, you go
Cost
werewolf
for
hunting.
yeah, dude, charge a vampire. Get back here, you
Yeah.
bitch!
Yeah, yeah.
I'm so about it. I love the razor
That's
edges.
great. I do like that.
Scatter tax, an idea that I was ashamed I did not think of before I read this. A loose canvas compartment filled with 20 caltrops and tied with a slipknot tether has been attached to the bottom of your rear backrest compartment. The tether leads all the way to a small hook on either side of the seat, where, as an action, you can choose to unhook it. Doing so causes the canvas compartment to fall open, scattering caltrops out behind you in a 5-foot
Mm.
square area. Any creature that now enters this area must make a DC 15 Dex saving throw or stop moving and take 1 piercing damage. The creature's movement speed is reduced by 10 feet until it regains at least 1 hit point. Any creature moving through the area at half their movement speed does not need to
Right,
make the
right, right.
save.
Yeah,
The
standard thing.
compartment initially comes with 20 caltrops, blah, 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 blah. The same way. Standard caltrops. Literally, this does not have to be an upgrade.
Yeah, you can just do it with getting a
th-
bag of it.
yeah, yeah, there is literally no need to have this. Even if
Yes.
you have this as part of your adventurers pack, it would still be an action to use it.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I'm not fucking making you take an extra action to root around your backpack behind you.
Yeah,
Yes, I
no,
understand it's not necessarily realistic, but I'm not gonna fucking punish you in action economy for your
exactly.
disability.
Exactly.
I'll impose modifiers on some things, but I'm not gonna fucking make you take 2 actions to fucking do
Yeah,
count
that would be
drops.
stupid.
This is something I would be fine with a clever-ish character just putting on their, combat wheelchair and not having it count against them.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Especially since like this is literally just like the only difference is just the cost being upped by 1 for the
Mhm.
compartment pouch and all that. Like you can just install that. You're fine.
It's 1 gold for flavor,
Yeah.
but I'd say, like, to fuck it, dude, like, that's cool as fuck,
I'll
like,
just
pull a string as an action and they all
yeah,
fall out.
I'll just let you I'll let you spend the extra gold for flavor, but it's just there. Cool.
Yeah, I'll allow you to install it during downtime.
Mhm.
Then we get to the coolest sounding ones, the Shin Shredders. 1 foot long pronged blades protrude from the center of the rear wheels of the chair,
Mm.
each one razor sharp and angled to be ablating and cut through flesh like a hot knife through butter. This
Yes.
weapon deals an additional 2 slashing damage to your tire strike. As the blades cut into skin, they cause great pain and make quick movements harder for the target creature. They must make a DC 12 con save to push through the pain or have a disadvantage on their next attack. This
Phew.
effect can only be used on the first attack on your turn. These blades can be silvered for an additional 100 gold pieces per wheel, cost 120 gold pieces. It's good,
Up
but the
that
cost is
up that
really?
up that cost, yeah. I would say so.
I, I don't
For
know. I think
disadvantage on a save that is really well, so the save is really easy to beat, I guess.
yeah.
It's one of those things where I think at least up it a little bit. I don't
Maybe,
know.
would you say 150?
Yeah, 150 would be okay. Maybe 200, maybe. For the pair, and then 100 each. I would be better with it. Um, it's not it's not the additional damage that I have the issue with. It's just the fact that you could just cause disadvantage.
Mm.
Um, and it is next attack. No, 150, 150. Yeah, I guess that's where I would go.
I personally love the idea that since you can stack these with the saw blade, you can literally just have, or sorry, the razor edges.
Yeah.
You can literally just have a combat wheelchair where your wheels look like Shredder from TMNT.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
Spider legs. I have a big issue with spider legs.
Okay.
Namely in the fact that I think it could be better.
Okay.
Tucked up snugly underneath the seat are 8 mechanical legs, folded up tightly in a claw-like position. A button has been set into one of the armrests, which, when pressed as an action, activates the legs to fold out and stand, lifting you and the chair 4 feet off the ground, allowing you and the chair to move across the ground in the same manner a spider does.
Mhm.
These legs are powered by a small, intricate, and extremely expensive construct engine that is also affixed under the seat of the chair, the legs folding over protectively when they are not in use. Designed by some of the best dwarven smiths and artificers in the realms, this construct is a genuine work of mastercrafted art. You can use the beacon stone to steer and control the legs whilst they are active. The legs ignore the effects of difficult terrain, and the sharp hooked claws that act as feet have such a powerful grip that they enable the user to climb up any vertical surface and ceiling. Using the legs increases the chair's base movement speed from 25 feet to 40 feet
Hmm.
and also grants the chair climbing speed of 40 feet. When the legs are not in use, the chair is no longer has a climbing speed and reverts back to a space movement of 25.
Mhm.
Additionally, the construct engine can also only be used for 1 hour at a time before needing to recharge itself for 2 hours.
Oh.
It is self charging, sustaining itself on a small core of hellfire that burns eternally.
Okay.
After 1 hour of use, the legs stop moving and begin to retract and fold up regardless of where the user is, so you must be careful of your surroundings. Don't lose power whilst upside down on the ceiling.
Tell me what I
During
must do.
the Hey
Anyway.
man, dude, my crush is gonna deal so much damage if I fall from the top of the cathedral.
Yeah, exactly.
And if we're using the critical hits rule, then at most I take only
Oh my
2
god.
critical hits.
Oh my god. Anyway, sorry.
Excuse me. Um, where
1
is it?
hour use, the
During
legs
the
stop moving.
Yeah, during the 2 hours that the legs are recharging, you can still use a combat wheelchair as normal. You just can't use the legs, of course.
Yeah.
Once the cooldown period has ended, you may use the legs again for up to another hour to keep the core of this construct engine safe. There's a protective outer shell shielding it from most damage. The AC of this casing is
Oh,
18, and
come
it doesn't gain
on.
any bonuses from the armored plates upgrade. Its AC is considered as separate from you and the chairs.
Why?
The weight of this upgrade is significant enough that you may need a cart or mount to help transport the chair when it is not being used. When using this upgrade, you cannot use the combat wheelchair as a weapon. You cannot make tire strike, ram, or crush attack.
Okay. I mean, sure, you can't make a tire strike. You could ram, dude. You can still ram. You can still
That's because
crush somebody.
it's because the weight is 75 pounds.
Okay, I get it. But you can still move 40 feet.
So
If you move 40 feet at something, dude,
you're booking.
you're gonna ram it. I
So
so
I have numerous problems with this.
okay, all right. Let's go through them one by one.
So firstly, right?
Mm-hmm.
I love the main idea.
Yes, it's cool.
However, when you start saying these legs are powered by a small, intricate, and extremely expensive construct engine that is also fixed under the seat of the chair,
Yo,
and you also say that
it's
it
powered
sustains
by
itself all a
Hellfire.
small core of hellfire,
Yeah.
I am
Very warm
okay.
under my seat, dude.
Oh, dude, it's seat warmer.
Oh, okay.
Um, I'm okay with you getting this upgrade.
Yes.
I will not allow you to get it at next to any merchant. This is something that you will quest for, and you will
Yeah.
get that hellfire yourself.
And honestly, I wouldn't even have you be restricted to 1 hour of use. I think
Yeah,
this
I would
this
say you can use it up to 2 hours and it rests 4.
yeah, like honestly, I feel like this is just a straight up upgrade. You don't like this becomes your spider chair and not your wheelchair anymore, dude. Like I don't know. I feel like this is good to just be an upgraded chair with its own
Do you think that the climbing speed a speed of 40 feet and spider climb passively is
well, this is why it
awesome?
would be a questing slash higher priced item, right?
Okay, so you're going off the same assumption of your questing for this.
That or it's extremely high price to get this
Mhm,
upgrade, right? And like you could have it be so you flavor it so that it does piercing attacks with its legs. You can have it be so that it can do
mhm.
like a whirlwind maybe. Like
Or maybe like a little web compartment or
well yeah,
something.
you make it its own thing. I feel like this is its own thing that you could just go for as an upgrade. Not just a little attachment you get that
Mhm.
you relegate to just this regular wheelchair. Like, why
Yeah.
would I ever want to go back to being on wheels? Why would I ever
Give
want
me the
anything other?
legs.
Yeah, why would I want anything other than spider legs, dude? Like, if
People
I didn't just get up on the wall, crawl across the ceiling, and go,
hell yeah, dude.
like,
Like,
yeah,
it's it's super cool.
yeah,
Like,
it's great.
it's like a
I'm
spider
freaking.
chair.
I have so many visions of like mounts from WoW slash like
Dude, there's the dwarf, the last surviving dwarf in the Elder Scrolls, Morrowind.
right.
His lower body is like a
That's
Dwemer
right.
spider thing. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, like things like that. It's just like when you get to that point, you don't go back. You
Like,
never
at
go
there
back.
comes a certain point where I want to be Urgot.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So like
From
and
the moment I discovered the weakness of my flesh, it sickened me.
exactly. So like again, this would be I feel like if we're going to have it just be an upgrade, definitely double that time of use because it's cool.
Mhm,
um
mhm.
make it, make it something that isn't hellfire so that it makes it so that I don't have to worry about, like, one,
That exploding.
it exploding, two, like, how did that happen, three, the fact that it's eternal, as you've said, why does it need to recharge? Like, I don't get that. I
Oh, it's
guess it
still
can
gotta
only,
charge the battery pack.
I guess it can only, it can't, so then this battery pack uses more than the hellfire itself can
It
make?
burns it it burns it at a faster rate. It's like a slow burn versus, like, a fast burn.
I guess, but then make a better battery, dude. Like, I don't know. Like, it's, or
Yeah,
find a better
I would
power source. I don't know. It
I
just doesn't feel right to me.
I personally would allow for better or alternate, fuel sources.
Yes,
Like,
exactly.
maybe you guys find the Arkenstone or
Right.
something,
Yeah.
and, like, you stick 2 prongs on either end of that, it's like a fucking Chaos Emerald.
Yeah.
You're
Totally.
Doctor Eggman.
Yeah. Gotta get them
Uh,
emeralds, dude.
um,
Um,
yeah,
and like,
there's also, right,
yeah.
the issue of the protective casing now has an AC and hit
Yeah,
points.
that makes me immediately go, why now?
So
Why?
so I'm strapped into the chair, right?
Yeah.
And the chair counts as part of me.
Right.
The engine that is built into the
Underneath
chair
into the chair. Yeah.
is targetable.
Apparently. Like,
Would that not be a called shot?
yeah, exactly. I don't see what,
There's nothing to indicate that it would be, and
exactly.
called shots aren't raw,
And like,
so
also, is this one of those things where it only gets damaged on a crit with your little weird system that I don't like? Like, I don't get it, right?
like, it's a cool ass upgrade, but,
Yes.
like, this sounds like
Yes.
something that you worked out with your DM and you copy pasted it into this,
Yeah.
and let us work out the details of whether it's Hellfire or something.
Yeah, that's definitely like, I don't know, you could just say energy source, like, because otherwise when I hear something like Hellfire, I think eternal burning, right? So
Mhm,
like,
mhm.
why would it ever run out of energy?
I'll be honest, I think of the cannons in Warhammer 2.
Well, yeah, there you go. That's fair enough. I was thinking more Doom because I played that more recently. So,
Mm, mhm.
um, but yeah, no, it's strange. Um, just a couple of tweaks there, and
Yeah, yeah.
also a whole nother sheet that you have made into like several different upgrade trees that you could go for.
Oh my god, upgrade
Yes.
trees!
Oh, that's immediately where I think yes.
Oh,
Yep.
oh, I love upgrade
Yeah. Upgrade
trees.
trees
Oh,
are great.
they give me anxiety,
They
but I love them.
they make the chemicals in my brain go yes. Upgrade
But
tree.
yeah, could be written better.
Yes, absolutely.
Um, Suppression tires. So, um, people on Twitter are having a fucking mental breakdown and saying
Yes.
that rogues can't use wheelchairs for some fucking reason.
Oh my god, really?
Like, I guess if you're in a wheelchair, they think that you can't be sneaky,
That's stupid. All right.
despite the fact that wheels make almost no noise on the ground.
Yeah, I was gonna say. All right.
And it's like, dude, I'm in a wheelchair. That doesn't mean I can't pick pockets.
Yeah, it also doesn't mean that if I see a twig, I can't go around it. Like,
Yeah.
okay.
So, suppression tires.
Mm-hmm.
The rear tires are replaced by a set which absorb the sounds that wheels typically make when they move across certain terrains, e.g., crunching stones,
Oh, there you go.
gravel, puddles, etc. Using these tires gives you advantage on stealth checks. You still have the ease of travel over coast, forest, grassland, and mountain terrains, but Arctic, desert, swamp, and Underdark still count as difficult terrains for you.
I still,
Suppression tires cannot be used with the upgrade armored plates.
I,
I
s-
would say they can't be used with fucking all-terrain tires.
yeah, that as well. But also, I would still, the same thing applies of advantage. Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
I'm more okay with this
I,
personally.
I still think it should just give you a flat bonus.
Mm.
It's
Huh.
still, I don't know. It's just like 220 gold to just have advantage at all times? No. Mm-mm.
On certain terrains.
Oh, okay, let me ask you how often do the adventurers like the Arctic
Oh
desert
no,
swamp
I
adventure?
I
Yeah.
know I'm
Okay.
playing devil's advocate.
Yeah. No. That's why. Yeah. Immediately. So no. Advantage all the time for 220 gold. Like no. That's just straight up something that's way better than anything anyone else could get.
Mhm. Um,
Last one.
yeah, yeah,
Oh
Thunder Trip. Yeah, I was just gonna say I could see maybe driving the cost up a little bit because advantage is good.
yes.
Um, Personally, of all of the things that could use nerfs, I think this is the least egregious.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's just me though. And I like sneaky things, so
Yeah. Well,
uh,
there you go.
this is my bias. I
Yes.
will own that.
There
I
you go.
really like the suppression tires.
Yeah. No. I was
Uh,
just say for balance reasons. That's why I say my thing.
Thunder Trip. Your chair has a symbol of evocational magic carved into the armrest of your choosing. The symbol holds 2 charges of the first level evocation spell, Thunder Wave. You can spend a charge at any time to cast the spell. This does not use up any spell slots, nor are you required to be of a magic class to use it. It's basically a spell scroll.
Yep.
You have 2 charges of the spell per day, and all expended charges are restored at dawn. The Thunder Wave spell cast is the same as in the player's handbook, but this dexterity save is 14. Cost 250 gold.
Yep.
Jack the cost up because you're getting 2 free scrolls per day.
Oh, true.
Um,
Yeah.
and
I mean,
I
so.
know I know where this upgrade came from,
Mm,
and it's when you want people to not be pushing on your wheelchair
oh,
and you
sure.
want to get them to fuck off.
Sure, yeah. The I would say that 250 is not the worst price. I would only raise it maybe a little bit, but like
I would honestly say 400.
400? Okay. I
Yeah.
was I was
I mean,
thinking 3, but
it's a first level spell,
yeah.
which it is a spell scroll, so I would say like that's 100.
Yeah,
Right,
exactly.
for a spell scroll like that. At 2 spell scrolls, that's 200, and then, like, getting it every single day.
Twice per day. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I don't know. It's one of those things where I'd have to look at other magic items just to see the comparison.
I would personally be more prone, to or I guess more favorable
Mhm.
to having, I guess, like, an armrest of your choice, having sort of like a spell book of sorts that you
Mhm.
can inscribe scrolls on
That'd
as
be cool.
runes, and then you can just essentially do the equivalent of pressing a button and casting the spell.
Sure. Yeah.
Like, I cast fucking fireball, and, like, a little hatch shoots open and a fireball shoots out of a pipe.
Yeah, little cool little upgrades like that would be neat. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Well,
Um,
let me ask you, what constitutes an upgrade? Since we're almost done.
well, good thing you asked me this. You're
Hmm.
perhaps wondering what constitutes an upgrade.
Oh,
What happens if I attach a shield to the side of my wheelchair? Does that mean my chair gets the +2 AC bonus? The answer is no. Your chair would not get the bonus. The same goes for randomly attaching any weapon or armor to the chair that isn't classified specially as an upgrade. Do you have any questions about this, Alejo?
no. I mean, it's strange to me.
Oh, I was hoping you would say, "Why is this?"
Oh, sorry. I was actually thinking about it. Why is this?
Oh, well, the difference between, say, attaching the armored plates upgrade and attaching a standard shield is that the upgrade has been specifically designed to fit the chair and fulfill its role correctly.
Hmm.
A shield is designed to be held close to the body and isn't made to accommodate for the shape and angles of a wheelchair. As a result, it cannot defend and protect both the chair and the character using it
Okay.
correctly, whereas the armored plates can. You cannot
Okay.
use non-upgrade items in order to give your combat wheelchair benefits. You can only use upgrades that have been specifically designed to be affixed to the wheelchair. However, you are more than welcome to homebrew your own upgrade items if you so desire. Get creative.
Absolutely.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. That's
Like, be an artificer in a wheelchair and make a helicopter,
yeah,
please.
absolutely.
Mundane items. Small mundane items like lamps, bedrolls, packs, and even small chests, etc., can be affixed to the chair's frame at no additional cost other than the price you paid to buy the items. Small magical items, such as the bag of holding, can also be affixed to the frame for additional storage.
Yes.
Yeah, of course.
Hmm.
And then we get into
A
some
a new
backgrounds and
background.
yeah, personalities
Yep.
and stuff.
That's about everything there. Okay.
Overall, I really like the combat wheelchair, but
Yeah.
I do think it needs some tweaks, and I think it is an excellent opportunity for helping make DMD more welcoming to everyone. I heartily disagree with detractors of
Yeah,
the
that's the thing
combat wheelchair.
that I don't understand at all is who detracts something like this, right? It's
Like,
super neat.
it's so cool, yeah.
Yeah, like it's very creative. It's
Creative, yeah, yeah, yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
there's nothing detracting at all unless you
It
make it,
only
right?
it only adds to the game.
Exactly.
I do understand some of the balance concerns
Yeah,
because
there are definitely balance concerns.
there
Absolutely.
are frankly a couple things which could be changed looking at you ramming Crush.
Yes.
Um,
We've noted
I
them,
yeah,
thankfully.
yeah, I think they are cool, but, they do represent a possible balance issue,
Mhm.
and that's one of the things that will be ironed out in playtesting.
Exactly.
Um
Yeah.
I cannot expect nor demand the absolute same quality of work from this one homebrew content creator as I would expect of WotC, who have teams literally whose job it is to playtest this stuff.
Yes, absolutely. So, yeah, I mean like I hope this like is seen maybe and
Yeah,
like criticize is good because criticism is how you improve. Um
yeah,
we're
yeah,
not immediately dismissing it because,
yeah.
wheelchair and all that, so
It's not like oh fucking wheelchairs and I hate disabled people, so
exactly.
I think that this is a bad upgrade. Like
Hmm.
it just needs tweaks, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's super cool. This is made by the Dislocating GM at Mustangs Art on Twitter.
There you go.
For any listeners up there,
It'll be in the
give her
description as well.
give her a follow and hit her up.
Hmm.
Alejo, is it alright with you if we take a quick break, real quick?
Well, I was gonna say we were gonna be done.
Oh,
Um,
we're not doing her takes.
no, unfortunately, it's unfortunately too late for
10%.
that.
Oh shit, yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
All right,
so it's gonna be we'll save that for another time, I think.
okay. I
Um,
will I will definitely remember.
yes, save that and all that. But yeah, no, the specific thing for the wheelchair, very much cool, very much for it. Just needs to be looked at a little bit more
Uh,
overall.
There is a GIF I am sending you if you want to play that for any of our video watchers,
Okay.
um, showing a man in a wheelchair climbing a rock face, and it's super cool.
All
Um,
right, let me bring it over there. Just as our final little thing. Whoops. Come on. Don't do that. What the heck? Um, it's got to take a second to load, and then I need to fix the thing itself. Studio mode. That's what you're for. Because yeah, that is not what I want there. Properties. Go to. There we go. Studio mode. Okay. It's loading still.
oh wow.
Yeah,
Um,
might be fast
so
internet, but not
she
fast computer. Haha.
so she mentions this is going to be one of the features for the rogue subclass I'm making for the combat wheelchair.
Hmm.
But so does that mean that combat wheelchair is a class now?
I don't know, man. It's again, remember it's quasi
Oh, wait.
weird.
Oh, wait, hold on. It's a rogue subclass, so each class will, I guess, have its own subclass for if they use a
Or
wheelchair
it.
or not.
Huh. That's getting more complicated. But alright.
Yeah, that's a lot of work, dude.
Yeah, if they're willing to do it, then go for it.
Why does like warlock and sorcerer and wizard need a subclass for a wheelchair?
Yeah, exactly. Alright, this isn't loading very well, but you can see the guy's doing real good climbing on a wall. Real cool.
Yeah,
Man, that
like
guy's good.
yeah, dude.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Well, let's there we go. Yeah, so that's gonna be it. Thank you for listening / watching. Very much appreciate it. Really enjoying all the new people coming in to listen and watch. Both of you, you lovely viewers, both of you, you
Mhm.
specifically.
You, yes, you. I
Yes.
see you.
Hello, you. Very much
You did very
appreciate it.
good today.
Yeah, you're doing great. I
Give us
assume.
money on Patreon
Well, you can find us.
if you want.
You can find us. Links will be in the description. You can find us through our website, TableTalk, d&d.us, as well as here on YouTube every Friday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on our channel for the main podcast, as well as our campaign that we've been doing, Devils and Dice, which premieres on Wednesdays at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if you missed the main podcast, hey, it goes back up on podcasting services at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Mondays. Other than that, you can follow our Twitter and Instagram at TableTalkD&D. Our Discord is also available for you to join and talk to us. The link is in the description as well as on the screen. And if you want to go even further than just listening, watching, and commenting and doing reviews and all that, you can give us a couple of bucks. By a couple, I mean a few, because that's more than a couple. At patreon.com/tabletalkdnd. It's also on the screen and in the description. Other than that,
Let us know your thoughts. Send us
please.
emails. Send us
Yes.
comments either on the Discord or on the video itself. We give them a read, and let's hear your takes.
Exactly, yeah. And as you said, email, forgot about that, tabletalkd&d@gmail.com. But yeah, thanks for listening, and we'll catch you next time.
Bye now.
Bye.
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 Bye.